Julia Burbank. Plainfield Chamber of Commerce, represented by Brad DuBois. Plainfield Youth Assistance Program.
All right, well, good evening, Quaker fans. Welcome in here on AudioSportsOnline.com. I'm Rob Kendall. Lex Zorn will join us momentarily as the Plainfield Quakers are set to take on the Hawks of Decatur Central. It is homecoming tonight, and a chance not only to pick up a big win for the Plainfield Quakers, but a chance to win their third in a row, which would move them back to 500 at 3-3 on the year as we come into the final third of the 2022 regular season. Before we begin tonight's broadcast, Luck will have some statistics and information for us. Let's thank the sponsors that make all of our broadcasts possible throughout the year here on AudioSportsOnline.com. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Ganell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone, Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank. Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank. Team Turley, Fairway Mortgage. Bailey and Wood Financial Group. African Plum Home. My IT Indy and myITindy.com. I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage. BGW Construction LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. As we said, it is homecoming tonight. The umbrellas are out. We got a light drizzle out there on the field. Still got about 13 minutes before our kickoff tonight. Crowd continues to pour in, and let's bring in my cohort for the evening. I guess I should say co-host, rather, for the evening. Lex Zorn. Lex, big opportunity tonight for the Quakers, not only to beat a team they have not been able to defeat in many years in the Decatur Central Hawks, but also get back to 500 and really assert some dominance heading into the final third of the season.
That's right, Rob, and you know there's no place I'd rather be on Friday nights than right here at Red Pride Stadium, and it's great to be back after that two-game road trip, but what a road trip it was. In Plainfield's last home game 3 weeks ago, they lost to Mooresville 38-7 and dropped to 0-3 for the first time since all the way back in 1996. That left many of us concerned that this would be a very sad farewell season for head coach Brian Woodard. But the comeback began the next week in the South Central of Indianapolis as Plainfield visited the Perry Meridian Falcons. The Quakers were good on offense and outstanding on defense, not allowing the Falcons an earned first down until the last 3 minutes of the game. Plainfield led 28-0 early in the fourth quarter and won 28-14. Then next week at Greenwood, things got even better. The Quakers were stellar on both sides of the ball and steamrolled to a 43-14 win. Quarterback Hunter Newell had the best game of his career so far, completing 9 of 14 passes for 154 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. And four-year starter Noah Hessling had the best game of his career, splitting his time between running back and wide receiver and excelling at both. He rushed 9 times for 106 yards, including a long of 42 and 1 touchdown, and he caught 4 passes for 75 yards, including a long of 43. In addition, Plainfield's 6 touchdowns were all scored by different players and equally divided between rushing and passing. The rushing touchdowns were scored by Troy Larison, Hunter Newell, and Antonio Williams, and the receiving touchdowns by Caden Vanderbush, Grant Irwin, and Noah Hessing. Now tonight, Plainfield tries to get its third consecutive win and move back to 500 against a very painfully familiar opponent, the Decatur Central Hawks, who enter this game on a 13-game winning streak against Plainfield, 9 wins coming in the regular season and 4 in the playoffs. However, Decatur Central, though still ranked number 11 in Class 5A in the AP poll, is off to a struggling 2-3 start. Their opener was a great success as they beat Columbus North, a Class 6A program, by a score of 26-12. But then the next 2 weeks, the Quakers lost 49-0 to New Palestine, currently the number 1 ranked team in Class 4A. And then the next week, 28-7 to Whiteland, currently the number 1 team in Class 5A. Now, granted, those are both top-ranked opponents. However, it's extremely unusual for Decatur Central to score a combined 7 points in 2 consecutive games. In Week 4, Plainfield somewhat got back on track with a 17-14 win over Martinsville, currently the number 10 ranked team in Class 4A. And then last week, though they lost, they played possibly their best game of the season, losing to Mooresville, the number 3 ranked team in Class 4A, by a score of 18-17. So through 5 games this year, Decatur Central has a mere 67 points. That's 13.4 points per game, far lower than we're accustomed to seeing since the Pyrotechnics started back in 2013, when then head coach and now athletic director Justin Dixon instated the run and shoot offense, which has been continued by current head coach Kyle Enright. So it looks like Plainfield has the best chance it's gotten to beat the Hawks since last beating them 10 years ago. In fact, it was the game was 10 years ago yesterday, which I had the pleasure of calling, and I'll be telling you more about that historic day later on. So anyway, so far this season, Plainfield has rushed 100. They've rushed 160 times and passed. Plainfield has rushed 160 times and passed 103, a ratio of 1.55 to 1. Junior quarterback Hunter Newell has completed 56 of 102 passes and even 50%. I'm sorry, that's 54.9% for 655 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. But keep in mind, the last 2 games, he has 5 touchdowns versus only 1 interception, and that came on a Hail Mary. On receiving, Grant Irwin, a senior, is having an outstanding season. He has 13 receptions for 258 yards, just under 20 a reception, and 4 touchdowns. In addition, junior Isaiah Miller has come on strong in the last couple of games. He now has 10 receptions for 107 yards and a touchdown, while senior Noah Hessing has 10 receptions for 105 yards. On the ground, the Quakers are led by converted track and field star Troy Larison, who has 51 rushes for 341 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Noah Hessing, a wide receiver for most of his career, has 38 rushes for 266 yards and 5 touchdowns. Antonio Williams, a senior, is playing better of late. He has 31 rushes for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Hunter Newell has 36 rushes for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Decatur Central has rushed 191 times and passed 92, a ratio of 1.55 to 1. Part of their offensive woes come from having a freshman quarterback this season, Bo Polston. He's showing a lot of promise. He's good size at 6'2 and 180, but he's completed only 35 of 90 passes so far for 522 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. His leading receiver is Tawan Taylor, a senior, who has 10 receptions for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns, followed by Casey Berry, a junior, with 3 receptions for 120 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, the Hawks do most of their damage. Casey Berry, a junior, is their leading rusher with 24 carries for 249 yards. That's an incredible 10.4 a carry and 1 touchdown. Meanwhile, senior Jordan Cox has 51 receptions for 223 yards. And then Bo Polston, the quarterback, also rushing very well with 48 rushes for 203 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, this is obviously a big game tonight. Leck is the band beginning to come onto the field. We'll have our national anthem momentarily. Obviously, it has a chance to beat a Decatur Central team this year. As you mentioned, the younger quarterback, obviously a freshman there, and personnel that's not quite the same as what we've seen the past really 8 or 9 years, an electric Decatur Central team throughout that time. And so a chance to get that win, but also a chance to get, as you said, back to 500. And it is really, as we talked about with Brian Woodard in the coaches show, we've talked about it the past couple of weeks, it's a team that is starting to get healthy, and I think you're seeing that in the performance, especially along the line. This is a team that really, it's kind of opposite of what we've seen in years past, knock on wood. We hope it continues, where there's always been some sort of key injury for the Quakers throughout the season that has kind of derailed things, especially the last 5 or 6 years, as the Plainfield Quakers now running onto the field of play. They'll be in the home red jerseys, white letters and numbers, gray pants, gray helmets. They'll meet at midfield as the band comes on to get ready for the national anthem. But really, it is like a team, I think, that's playing better because they're getting healthy. They have all of their players out there, and I think you've seen the big difference the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Coach Woodard's teams have broken down, as the season went on. especially back in 2013 when they got up to that smoke and mirrors 4-1 start, and they were serious contenders for the Class 4A state championship. They actually had the largest enrollment there in Class 4A that year, but then injuries mounted and they limped to finish with losing their last 5 games, including a playoff game at Lebanon that I commentated, which was so painful because they clearly would have run away with the game had they been healthy. Also, the 2015 team got off to a very good start, including a win at Roncalli. But then in Game 5, starting quarterback Colin Nicewander in his senior season went down with a broken collarbone, and we were forced to throw a freshman into the fire. And again, that was a season that had a lot of promise that, just got derailed.
Yeah, and now I guess we're going to, nope, not yet. We'll have the fight song before the national anthem. I thought maybe we were going to go, and I thought, boy, nobody's set, but there we go. Quakers are now on the sideline. Fans coming to their feet. As we said, there is a bit of rain in central Indiana. We talked with Coach Woodard in the coaches show. It's interesting. It has been a long time, Leck, and it seemed like there was a couple of years there where it was just happening a couple times a year where a game was rained out or had to be made up on a Saturday, or there was a significant delay in the broadcast. And we have not had that, it seems like, in several years now.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. And, in fact, actually the first time I ever commentated these two teams against each other, in fact, it was the first time I ever commentated Plainfield at all. It was 10 years ago yesterday on a Saturday afternoon in a game that had been lightning postponed the night before. And that was the last time that Plainfield ever beat Decatur Central, 17-14. I'll tell you more about that game later on. I have great memories of that day, and it's turned out to be more special because of the relationship that I've built with Plainfield since then. And at that, we will pause for the national anthem.
Decatur Central Hawks and your Plainfield Quakers, at this time, would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem performed tonight by the Plainfield Marching Band under the direction of Michael Carpenter.
Well, thank you to Plainfield for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. That was the Plainfield Marching Band.
Okay, so real quick before we begin the broadcast tonight, we've still got about a minute up on the clock. Let's thank the sponsors again who have made the broadcast possible all year long. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flag Star Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn. Chance for the Plainfield Quakers tonight to get back to 500 here at homecoming and enter the final third of the regular season with a 3-3 record. Here come the Hawks of Decatur Central out onto the field. They will wear the road white jerseys, gold pants, gold letters and numbers, blue helmets, and obviously, again, we've talked about this many times over the years that this year, that this will be Brian Woodard's final season, and man, it has just been such a pleasure to call most of those games throughout his coaching tenure. Coach Woodard became the head coach in 2006. We started broadcasting Plainfield football in 2008, so we have been here every Friday night, or as Leck alluded, occasionally a Saturday morning. We have been here for the vast majority of those games, and as Leck, both teams coming out onto the field for the coin toss, we've had the pleasure of calling some great coaches over the years, and I think about the people that really stand out that we've had relationships with. Dave Shelbourne at Avon High School, Mark Bless at Avon High School, but I think without a doubt my all-time favorite coach that we've been able to work with, because he's such a great guy, is Brian Woodard, and gosh darn it, I'd love to see him be sent out with at least at the bare minimum, a sectional championship for all these years of hard work, all the great things he's done. He's just such a great guy, and it's nice to see this team hitting good form as we enter the second half of the season.
It sure is, and Coach Woodard is my favorite coach who I've ever had the pleasure of commentating as well. I've gotten to know him personally. Like you said, he is a great guy, and one thing I'm really appreciative of is how helpful he's always been to me. And these days, all I have to do to get the statistics for Plainfield and all their opponents is simply go to maxpreps.com. But at the time, it wasn't that easy in the early years. So I would email Coach Woodard, and I am not kidding you. You probably think I'm exaggerating, but seriously, he would often send me the statistics literally within 5 seconds. I mean, he was blazing at it. So
that's a biology teacher for you right there, Lek. That's why.
That's one thing that really that's really cool, because I remember when I was a head coach, and I think it's still an IHSAA rule. It was when I was a student that the head coaches all have to be teachers at the school. And so a lot of them, they would teach, like typing and, health and phys ed and stuff like that. But Coach Wood actually teaches biology. It's not too often that a head football coach teaches a heavyweight academic subject like that.
All right, so here we go. Decatur Central will kick off. They won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Plainfield will receive the ball. They'll be moving from right to left on your computer screen. And I see Antonio Williams back there to receive the kick. And I believe also that is number 10, Grant Irwin, on the far side of the field. So if you picture it, Plainfield will be moving from north to south or right to left, however you prefer. I'm sorry, from south to north or right to left. Easy enough for me to say. There's the kick. It's short, taken by Williams, the 15 to the 20, 25, and breaks off a tackle, gets near the 30-yard line, and taken down about the 29, maybe the 28, and it'll be first down and 10 for the Quakers.
Yeah, Antonio Williams really paid his dues on the JV team the last few years, and it's finally paying off for him. He's really come into his own the last 2 or 3 games, and like Grant Irwin, after not playing much varsity ball before his senior season, now making a push at a college scholarship.
All right, so it's homecoming. Let's see what Plainfield can do at number 6. Junior Hunter Newell working out of the gun. 1 man in the backfield, 2 receivers going wide to the left, 1 man to the right, and snap back to pass. Steps up, got a man wide open, and boy, he's off to the races. He could go the distance.
He got it.
Troy Larison, 30, 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
Oh, my God.
Couldn't start it any better than that. Little pitch and catch. Troy Larison goes the distance, wide open. He could still be running, and it's 6-0 Plainfield.
Well, that's the advantage of bringing in a star from the track and field team to play on your football team. Oh, my God, 71 yards to start off the game. What a momentum-building play, to try to get this, not just this monkey, but this gorilla off our back, the way that Decatur Central has tormented us since we got our last victory over them 10 years ago yesterday. So now Cameron Grimes trying to stay perfect on the extra point. He's 14 of 14 on the season.
There's the snap, spot, kick is up, and the kick is good. 11:41 left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Plainfield. Couldn't draw it up much better than that, Lek.
That's right, and Hunter Newell through the first 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now he's equal on the season, 8-8. What a great a comeback he's made after that rough start. And I'll tell you, Rob, this is really important that, when I saw that we got the ball first, I was thinking, okay, let's get a score and, get some momentum, because this is a team that's beaten us 13 straight times. We got to get some confidence, get some momentum. And now we've already, in 19 seconds into the game, we've got their freshman quarterback playing in a hole. That's just where we want him.
So Plainfield will kick it off. Perfect start for the Quakers, and Decatur Central will receive the football, moving from left to right on your computer screen. It will be the aforementioned 97 Cameron Grimes to kick it off. Grimes is a sophomore, and a couple of Hawks back there to receive it. Number 22, K.C. Berry, on the far side of the field, and I believe that's number 10, Chris Richmond, on the near side of the field. And boy, Leck, these are these white jerseys with the gold numbers. No fun trying to pick those up throughout the course of the evening.
Yeah, although it's not as bad. The first outdoor game I ever commentated, it was week 4 back in 2012 when Decatur Central played at Martinsville on a Saturday afternoon because of a lightning postponement, and now here's the kick.
Short kick. It'll be fielded at about the 17 across the 20 and up across the 25. Host of Quakers in there on the tackle. It'll end up at about the 27-yard line, and that was number 18 maybe on that catch. I couldn't tell. The body's piled up. Number 18, we'll go with that, is Bryson Bonawit. But the body's unpiled. It was hard to get a number there. It's going to be hard to get a number throughout most of the evening. We'll do our best. All right, here we go. Number 12, the quarterback, as we mentioned.
Bo Polston.
Yeah, Bo Polston.
He's a freshman.
The freshman, and he'll work out of the shotgun. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 man to the left, 1 man in the backfield, 1 man in tight left as Polston works out of the gun. And goes in motion from left to right. Snap. Give straight ahead. And a bit of a hole before the Quakers fill it at about the 30-yard line. Pick up about 3 on first down. The running back at that time, number 23 for the Quakers, Jordan Hawks, Jordan Cox.
Jordan Cox having a very good senior season. They give him credit for 3 on that one.
Yeah, ball spotted just short of the 31, and the board says 2nd and 7. We'll go with that. Polston working out of the gun again, same formation, 2 receivers wide to the left, 1 man to the right. 23 Jordan Cox in the backfield with Polston to his right. Snap, throw, caught, far side of the field, big room to run, misses a tackle, misses another. He's down the sidelines, stays on his feet inside the 30-yard line. And a big pitch and catch that time. There was 1 man to beat, and he beat him and was off to the races. So a big answer. I believe that was number 14, Desmond Coleman, a junior, on the far side of the field. So as quick as Plainfield scores, Decatur Central in business, they mark him out at the 33 of Plainfield.
Boy, that brings back bad memories of that Greenfield Central game where we had a couple of missed tackles that resulted in long touchdowns. Fortunately, no touchdown that time, but yeah, you hate to let their freshman quarterback get that kind of confidence that early.
Polston out of the gun, 2 to the left, 2 men to the right. Empty backfield. Now man goes in motion from left to right. There's a snap. Nope, quarterback keeper decides to keep it himself. Brings it to the far side, or near side of the field, and a big hit and a tackle that time. Number 12, Gavin Hendry coming up making the hit for the Quakers.
And I'm glad we got a stop there. So Polston, a very good rushing quarterback, has a lot of potential. I think he's going to be a very good one. But while he's a freshman, we got to make him play like a freshman. We brought him down for -1 there.
Yeah, no gain, as you said. Leck lost a yard on the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and long for Decatur Central at their own 34-yard line. Polston out of the gun. Cox returns to the backfield. 2 men to the left and 1 man to the right. Snap. Throws down the middle of the field. Got a man over the head of the intended receiver. He was wide open and overthrown that time. I believe Chris Richmond, number 10, was the intended receiver. One thing that's interesting about Polston, he does not drop when he catches the ball, Leck. He just catches, pivots, and throws.
He's shown a lot of promise, and he's good size already at 6'2", 180. So, yeah, I mean, if he keeps working hard and doing what got him to, be on the freshman, to be a starting freshman quarterback for a school the size of Decatur Central, he's going to be a Division I prospect in 3 years.
3rd down and long coming up for the Hawks. Quakers going to try to stop them here. 2 receivers to the right, 1 man to the left. Snap, quarterback keeper, brings it to the near side of the field. Plainfield sniffs it out,
all right,
and no gain that time as Polston dives, a loss of about 3 all the way back at the 37. 4th down and long coming up, probably too long for a field goal here.
Yeah, it'd be a 54-yarder, yeah.
And so it looks like Decatur Central going to leave what resembles the offense on the field, but I don't know if Polston can punt it or not. We'll find out, or will punt it or not, I should say. We'll find out. I mean, this is very long, and the ball is inching closer towards midfield, so we'll see. They go trips to the left side of the field, 1 man to the right, Cox, the lone man in the backfield, as Polston barks out the signals on 4th and long. Snap. He's going to throw it. Throws it up. Far side of the field, and it is incomplete. Falls in front of the Plainfield defender, number 1 that time, Caden Vanderbush, defending on the far side of the field, and Plainfield will take over with 9:06 in the first, left to go in the first quarter, leading at 7-0.
Well, certainly one blotch for the defense on that missed tackle that resulted in the 38-yard gain there by Richmond. But, you know, the defense did a good job clamping down after that, holding the Hawks to -4 yards on the ensuing 4 plays, and now taking over in pretty good field position at their own 37. 9:06 to go here in the first quarter. Now, if we can take a 2-possession lead here, then we will clearly be in the driver's seat playing a team with a freshman quarterback and not a real good passing offense.
2 receivers going wide to the right, 1 man to the left. It is 1 man in the backfield, the aforementioned number 16, Troy Larison, who caught that first pass of the ball game coming out of the backfield, taking it for the touchdown. I'm sure Brian Woodard would love to duplicate that. Out of the gun, give straight ahead to Larison, and he'll get positive yardage of about 3 yards.
Flag.
Yeah, flag flies in late. Came from the back of the play, and we'll see what that is. Gain of about 2 on the play, and now let's hold for the signal. Personal foul face mask on Decatur Central.
All right.
So that'll be 15 yards in favor of the Plainfield Quakers, a first down, and that should move them very close to midfield.
No, yeah, it'll put them slightly into Decatur Central territory. All right. So the Plainfield clearly has the early momentum. Now we just got to, you know.
It looked like, I was going to say, it looked like some generous stepping there by the official. He was past the 45 at Decatur Central, then realized how far he'd gone, went back to the 46. And look at that jet that's going overhead there, Leck. That's got something big on it. I don't know whether it's people or stuff, but that's a big old jet. And as many of you know, most of you know, Plainfield High School located very close to the Indianapolis International Airport. Out of the gun, snap, play action, throws, middle of the field. It is caught on the slide, and it will be taken down by number 2 that time, Noah Hessong. Nice sliding catch by Hessong. He's very close to a first down. That's down around the 38-yard line. It'll bring up a 2nd and 1.
Yeah, Hessong having an outstanding senior season and had the best game of his career last week, where he had 181 all-purpose yards, including a reception of 43 yards and a rush of 42 yards, also 1 touchdown.
2 men going wide to the right side, 1 man to the left, as again Newell will work out of the gun. Snap, drop, throwing, got a man, overshot the intended receiver on the near side of the field, Isaiah Miller. He got some separation, but Newell overthrew him. It'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, it looked like Miller just didn't turn on the gas early enough. Nevertheless, 3rd and 2, so still in good shape. Just need to get this first down here and get a fresh set of downs and go from there.
So as you said, Leck, 3rd down and short coming up. Ball sits at the 38. They need to get to about the 36 for the Plainfield Quakers. 2 receivers going wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Newell works out of the gun. Snap, rolling, throwing right before he got hit, incomplete. The intended, and a flag flies in late. The intended receiver was Noah Hessong on the far side of the field, but a flag in the area of roughing the passer as a big hit came on Newell. He got up, looks like he's okay, but another personal foul may hurt the Decatur Central Hawks here on this drive. It is going to be roughing the passer on Decatur Central.
All right, so 2 15-yard penalties. So Decatur Central already trailing 7-0. Now with they've given Plainfield 30 free yards on this possession. And, Decatur Central is Plainfield's second close geographic rival. The 2 schools separated by only 8 miles. Decatur Central is on the southwest side of Indianapolis.
And with the ball sitting at about the 23-yard line, it will be 1st down and 10 for Plainfield. 8 minutes even left to go in the first quarter. Plainfield moving from right to left. They lead at 7-0. Newell out of the gun. Snap, give straight ahead. Big hole. Hessong inside the 15. Down around the 14. He's going to be about a yard short of a first down. So Noah Hessong with both the catch and the run so far making a positive impact on the ball game.
Yeah, and both Larison and Hessong each now have 1 reception and 1 rush. So they give him credit for 9 on that one.
Yeah, as you said, Leck, now second down and short coming up. Clock continuing to move inside of 7:40 left to go in the first quarter. Plainfield leads at 7-0, and they're in the Decatur Central red zone.
It's now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hessing, the running back.
Newell working out of the gun. Snap, give to the near side of the field. Big hole by Hessong. He's inside the 10, stays on his feet inside the 5, diving down around the 3, and it'll be first and goal coming up for the Quakers.
Well, I think we're going to, it's early, but my gut instinct is that we're going to get the gorilla off our backs tonight after 13 consecutive losses.
Yeah, as you said, it's been just a real tough matchup for the Quakers the past several years, which is kind of weird because, as my recollection is, we did pretty well those first 4 or 5 years we were covering Plainfield against Decatur Central, but it has not gone well since then. Goal line formation, driving ahead, Antonio Williams in for the score. First touchdown on the first play of the first and goal series for Plainfield. Antonio Williams with the run, and that'll make it 13-0 with 6:50 left to go in the first quarter.
All right, I like what I'm seeing here. So Antonio Williams, another touchdown for the senior, who really has come into his own this year after barely playing varsity ball.
So now Cameron Grimes on to attempt the extra point. Snap, spot, kick is up. It's down the middle. It is good. Grimes remains perfect on extra points throughout the season, and a perfect start for the Plainfield Quakers. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, nothing for Decatur Central. It's 14-0 in favor of the Plainfield Quakers.
And Rob, it's like every year for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been overwhelmed when I commentate Decatur Central. They're bigger than us, but not by a big margin. I'm thinking, how do they have all that talent? And then I keep thinking, well, surely, okay, this year they've got to have an off year this year. And finally that's happened. Finally they are rebuilding now. And part of it is that the fearsome Tracy family, apparently their well has finally run dry after there were about 6 or 7 Tracy kids there over the last 8 years or so, including Tyrone, who went on to the University of Iowa.
By the way, that drive, thanks to our man Sherman down there, the stat man extraordinaire. 6 plays, 62 yards, 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
Now, thanks to Sherman.
He is the best. Jeff Sherman, one of the best stat guys in all the land, has been taking care of us for a long time out here at Plainfield. Doesn't have the printer anymore like he used to run us the stats down, but we've got the text messaging, Luck.
Yeah, and also Jackie Sproul gave me stats for about 3 or 4 years before that. So, yeah, they've had great stat people over my tenure here.
There's the kickoff. Ball ended up on the floor. I think they ruled him down anyway. They did, and that was number 10, Chris Richmond, with the return for the Decatur Central Hawks up to about the 27-yard line, and it'll be first down and 10 for Decatur Central.
Boy, it'd be great if we could, do another 3 and out and then, really stick the dagger and take a 3-possession lead. When a team's beaten you 13 straight times, you don't want to take any chances. You just want to go in for the kill.
Yeah, number 12, Bo Polston out of the gun. The freshman working with 2 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right. Snap, give, stretch play, far side of the field, off left end, and nothing doing that time. As I believe that was 23, Jordan Cox with the short run. Plainfield really dominating both sides of the line here on offense and defense.
Yeah, they give Cox credit for 2. And, Rob, even those first 3 games that we lost, the rushing defense for the most part was very good. So it's the other areas of the game that have really improved a lot, especially the offense.
2 receivers going wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Single back formation, Polston working out of the gun. 1 man in tight left as well. Goes in motion from left to right, and a whistle and a flag flies. May get an illegal motion that time. Yeah, it was on the Decatur Central Hawks.
So Decatur Central shooting itself in the foot already has committed 35 yards worth of penalties, including two 15-yarders on the last drive for Plainfield that aided in their score.
You know, it's interesting too, Leck, and Coach Woodard talked about this all season long, especially in those early coaches shows. The emergence of Christopher Strange, number 66, he's a senior along that defensive line. He was out with a foot injury early in the year, and Coach talked about how much better the team would be when he reemerged, and boy, was he right. I mean, and I think his reemergence has a lot to do with this dominant play, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Pass to the near side of the field, missed tackle that time as number 10, that is Chris Richmond, was able to get up across the 30, gain of about 6 yards that time near the 33. So it'll bring up a third down and let's call it 4 from the 33-yard line for Decatur Central.
Boy, and I think from a Decatur Central standpoint, I'm sure that meant a lot because they've, really been pretty well shut down their last 4 or 5 plays prior to that.
Yeah, Strange is listed at 6 foot 315, and he is every bit of that. He is a dude up there. And, boy, like we said, Leck, and this is the first game I've seen him play, I believe, this year, because the last 2 games you've had on your own,
right,
as they've been road games. Now quarterback draw,
yes,
and that's going nowhere up the middle. Might have even lost a yard, and they'll bring up 4th down again for Decatur Central.
So all of Polston's rushes have been for losses so far, and he's a very good rushing quarterback. So, well, they're marking him, I guess, for no gain, but nevertheless, Plainfield now with they're about to get the ball back with a chance to take a 3-possession lead. And by the way, keep in mind, maybe the most underrated aspect of Plainfield so far this season, the first 5 games they've blocked 4 kicks.
Now they are looking like they're going to go for it here. Boy, what a risky proposition early on for Decatur Central. Now they'll move back into what would be probably described as a punt formation with the quarterback Polston doing the punting duties. Snap, there's the kick. He does get it away. It's a high end-over-end kick. It'll sail. It'll hit at the 35, inside the 30, still rolling, and it'll be down at about the 25-yard line, so no return that time. Plainfield had no one back as Decatur Central was set up in an offensive formation, and then Polston dropped back, and Plainfield said, look, we'll just take the ball where it goes. Let's get Decatur Central off the field, and they do so with 4:49 left to go in the first quarter, leading it by a score of 14-0.
So Plainfield now taking over and at their own 25 with a chance to take a 3-possession lead here in the first quarter. Apparently that 13-game losing streak to the Hawks will come to an end tonight. Boy, will that feel good.
Well, we'll see. A lot of football left to go as Newell will work out of the gun. 2 receivers to the left. Now man goes in motion, and boy, that's all sorts of people moving, and Brian Woodard is going to be mad at that because that was a total confusion that's going to result in Plainfield losing 5 yards for illegal motion, having like 9 guys moving at the same time.
All right, come on, boys. Let's get those yards back now. So, and that's about the first mistake other than the missed tackle. It's probably, I guess that's only the second mistake Plainfield has made in this game. 4:49 to go now in the first quarter. And one good thing, if Plainfield does get a big win today, that's going to be huge for them psychologically.
Whoa, they're going to call that against Decatur Central?
All right. So for now 1st and 5 at the 30. So already 40 penalty yards against the Hawks here in the first quarter. So Decatur Central I'm
just flabbergasted like that they called that against Decatur Central, but I'm not going to complain. And now it'll be 1st and 5 rather for Plainfield. Snap, little end around, and that went nowhere, and a huge hit that time as Larison got the end around going from right to left, and he was hit and stuck. He looks like he's okay. That was a huge hit by Decatur Central that time.
Yeah, I think he was just venting that Decatur Central player was just venting his anger about the way things are going, and so now it'll be 2nd and 8. So. That's 2nd and 8, not as bad as 2nd and 13. So those 5 penalty yards helping us here. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
Yeah, working out of the gun again is the Plainfield Quakers. Newell with it, gives it straight ahead, and I believe that was Hessong, and again that went nowhere. So Plainfield got those free 5 yards to begin the drive, and after that they've been unable to convert. As yes, that was Noah Hessong, number 2, with the run that time. No gain on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 after losing 3 yards on 1st down.
Well, I give Decatur Central a lot of credit for their defense really clamping down and playing with a lot of urgency now. So clearly they're not going to roll over. They've been a dominant program here in Class 5A for almost a decade now, since Coach Justin Dixon, now the athletic director at the school, instated that run and shoot offense that's been so hard to shut down.
Out of the gun, 3rd down and long. 3 receivers wide to the right. Play action pass. Got a man caught. It's Hessong on the far side of the field. Cuts it back, drives forward across the 30. He'll get up to about the 31, but he's going to be about 4 yards short of the 1st down. And so Plainfield unable to capitalize on the nice stop by their defense, the 3 and out, and they'll be forced to punt it after a 3 and out of their own.
Well, hopefully we'll keep on stifling their offense, because I hate to think about Decatur Central getting the ball with a chance to make it a one-possession game. So hopefully we'll come through here.
Inside of 3 minutes left to go in the 1st quarter. It's a 14-0 Plainfield lead over Decatur Central, and now they'll be forced to punt it away. Snap is clean. Kick is good. It's a end-over-end kick. It'll hit at the 40, drops straight up in the air, and it now takes a big Plainfield bounce. That was moving all over the place. Inside the 35, down about the 32, no return, and the Plainfield defense will come back onto the field.
So that'll be a 37-yard punt there. And Decatur Central now with 2:34 to go in the first quarter, trailing 14-0. They punted on their first 2 possessions. Now, and that would, by the way, that was the first time that their defense had stopped Plainfield all game. The Quakers got touchdowns, and pretty easily on their first 2 possessions. Extremely easily. The first possession was just 1 play.
So here we go. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Polston will work out of the gun, single man in the backfield. Plainfield defense has been super dominant so far. Let's see if they can keep it moving. Snap, back to pass. Quick drop, throw short on the near side of the field. Intended receiver that time, number 10, Chris Richmond. It'll bring up 2nd down and short, 2nd down and long.
Polston has completed 2 of his first 5 for 47 yards. And it looked like there was some miscommunication between him and Richmond there. So bringing up 2nd and 10. So
working out of the gun again, Polston. Again, it's really weird. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen this. He does not drop to throw the football. He literally just pivots and throws.
Certainly he's a guy I look forward to, watching develop over these next 3 years.
Out of the gun, snap, stretch play, gets past 1 tackler, will not get past the 2nd, and that is a tackle for a loss. That time number 53 for Plainfield, Croy Teamer, getting in there, making the hit. Lost about a yard on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Who was that? Who was that rusher?
I believe that was number 23 again.
Okay, yeah, Cox, yeah.
So 3rd down coming up. Nice job by Plainfield. Again, dominating that line of scrimmage, forcing quarterback to get rid of the ball quick and giving nothing on the run thus far, as we got 2 minutes left to go in the 1st quarter.
And most importantly, we've got Decatur Central in another dreaded 3rd and long.
2 receivers going wide to the left, to the right, 1 man to the left, 1 man in the backfield. Snap back to pass, steps up, throwing. He's got a man deep. He's wide open. It's caught, and that could go the distance. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Number 10 that time, Chris Richmond. And we have seen this now on multiple occasions, like it's the first time it hurt the Quakers tonight. They have gotten single coverage, and they are able to blow past these Plainfield defenders, and that was a touchdown.
Yeah, it was. So now all of a sudden we had a chance on our last possession to make it a 3-possession game. Now it's a 1-possession game. So we better, get those points back on our next possession. That was that play covered 68 yards there, Polston to Richmond.
All right, so the extra point attempt now by Decatur Central, number 6, I believe that's Ashton Vogel, a sophomore. It is. The kick is up. It is good. And so with 1:42 left to go in the 1st quarter, Plainfield now leads it by a score of 14-7.
Well, we've scored 2 out of our 3 possessions. Now we got to make it 3 out of 4 now to get that 2-possession lead back. And I give Decatur Central, though, all the credit in the world. They went down 14-0, but it's a reminder that this is a great program. Great programs have rebuilding years, but they still, the kids still play hard while they're trying to get the program back on track. And when we got the ball with a chance to take a 3-possession lead, their defense clamped down, forced us to a 3-and-out. And then, on 3rd and 10 with the freshman quarterback, he threw deep, and, it paid off with the touchdown. So, it's a reminder that this is a great program, but, yeah, we got to, keep playing hard and understand, we don't have it clinched yet. We got to bring it the whole 48 minutes.
So Plainfield now will receive the kick. Decatur Central kicking off. The Quakers will catch the ball and move it from right to left. We're still in the first quarter. The minute 42 left to go. Antonio Williams back there, in addition to Troy Larison.
And, another thing I give Polston credit for is that Richmond clearly had been his target of choice all night, and it kept on not working out until finally that play.
There's the kick. Line drive kick. It'll bounce. And it will spiral towards the far side of the field, taken by Larison. He's got a hole across the 20, 25, and taken down there. Boy, he was moving quick. He needed one block to get up that seam and didn't get it. And he'd have been off to the races, but down at the 26-yard line.
And Larison, you could tell he was running like he wanted to get those points back right away. So, anyway, Plainfield taking over now.
You're moving quick when you hear oohs and ahs from the audience and you end up getting tackled after a short game.
Yeah, and I think about Brian Woodard's teams now. I've been commentating them for 11 seasons now, and there's so many good things I can say about them, but I don't remember any of his teams ever really having a lot of speed, so that's one reason that Larison stands out so much with me. It's great to have that kind of speed.
2 receivers going wide to the left, 1 man to the right, single back in the backfield with Newell, who will work out of the gun. 1:37 left to go in the first quarter, and here is Newell calling the signals, whistle, flags fly, and that's usually on the offense. It is a delay of game on the offense, and boy, that's bad coming out of the huddle. Out of the timeout and the stoppage of play with the kickoff. Brian Woodard not going to be happy about that. It'll move the ball back to the 22, where it'll be a 1st down and 15.
Well, one reason, obviously, when you've lost 13 in a row to a team, you want to get that monkey off your back. But even more so because, Decatur Central is once again an hour sectional.
Now out of the gun. Snap. Give. Straight ahead. I believe that was Hessong. Gets about 3 yards, maybe 2 on 1st down. Boy, they're not even going to give him that. So not much of a gain there. Now I guess they will finally move it. They will spot it at about the 23. So a gain of maybe a yard on 1st down. 2nd down and long coming up for Plainfield.
Yeah, 2nd and 13 at the 24. 1:13 to go and counting here in the first quarter. 7:31 your time of day. And the visiting bleachers starting to fill up more now.
And the rain has subsided, it looks like. So here with a minute to go come the Quakers now facing a 2nd and long. 2 men going wide to the left side, 1 man on the far side of the field. Single back formation, snap, back to pass. Steps up, going to be flushed out. He's going to be hit and dropped all the way back at about the 15-yard line. So as dominant as Plainfield was for those opening 2 possessions, really struggling now. Decatur Central asserting itself. 38 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Plainfield now facing a 3rd down and forever. They need to get up to the 37. They're back at the 16, so we'll call it about a 3rd and 21. The board says 22. We'll go with them.
So that's -9 there. And, Newell, he's, been pretty good at getting rid of it when he needed to, but he didn't there. So now likely they'll just try to do a conservative play, get some of those yards back, and set up a better position for the punt.
Could be, depending on what happens, the final play of the 3rd quarter, and now facing a 3rd and long. Plainfield forced to burn a timeout. The play clock was running down, so they've had 1 delay of game and now forced to use a timeout to avoid another delay of game. And Brian Woodard, meeting his team on the sidelines, can't be real thrilled with these last 6 or 7 plays from the Plainfield offense.
Yeah, they're letting Decatur Central seize the momentum, and then I give Decatur Central a lot of credit though for clamping down on defense the way they did, and again for the offense for coming back and spitting in our face like they did. And Decatur Central, I'll tell you, if Cathedral had not been in our sectional for all those years, I think Decatur Central would probably have 5 or 6 sectional championships in the Justin Dixon / Kyle Enright era. As it is, they only have 1. That was in 2018. That year they got all the way to the Class 5A state championship game, and they lost to New Palestine.
Just a reminder, those of you listening tonight, if you could do us a favor, hit that like button on the internet feed there, the YouTube feed. You see it. It's right down there below the screen where you're listening to us at. That helps us out. Hit the like button. We'd certainly appreciate that. Let us know you're here tonight. We appreciate you tuning in tonight here on Audio Sports Online as we're back to the third down possession. Snap back to pass. Steps up. He's got a man open in the flats. Caught by Hessong. He's got room to run across the 20. Makes one man miss, and then the second guy will come up and get him. Takes him down at about the 30. I'm sorry, they'll put him down at the 29. So while that is a nice pickup that'll help with field position, about 7 yards short of the first down, that is the final play of the first quarter. So with one in the books, it'll bring up a fourth down, probably punt situation for Plainfield. They do lead at 14-7. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors who made Plainfield football broadcast all year long. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, Mortgage Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, I'm Rob Kendall, along with Lex Zorn, coming to you live tonight from Plainfield High School, where the Quakers with a record of 2-3 taking on the Hawks at Decatur Central, also with a record of 2-3, and it was a bit of a mixed bag for Plainfield in the first quarter. Started great, scoring on their first two possessions, but the last two times they've had the ball, they've looked a little rocky. It'll be one punt, it's about to be two, and Decatur Central's offense woke up on that last possession with the big bomb pass to make it a 14-7 affair, which is where we begin the second quarter. So Plainfield will kick it away. Back there to kick it is number 96, Tyler Blake, a senior, and the Plainfield Quakers will kick it from left to right on your computer screen.
Tyler Blake, very similar name to our head coach designate, Tyler Bless, who we've really neglected to talk a whole lot about him so far this season, but certainly we will in the coming weeks.
There's the kick. It is away. It's a high kick, end over end. It'll hit at the 45, takes a huge Plainfield bounce inside the 30, still rolling, still going, and will stop at about the 26. So a great kick that time with no return. Yeah, Tyler Bless and I now following each other on Twitter as of today.
All right.
And so we're Twitter friends. So hello to Coach Designate Tyler Bless. Of course, his dad, a longtime football coach, his uncle, a longtime football coach.
Yeah, that's right. His dad, Tim Bless, longtime head coach at Columbus North, and his dad, Uncle Mark Bless, formerly the head coach at Avon, formerly the head coach at Mooresville, now at Avon.
And, of course, for years we did announce Mark Bless's football team there at Avon High School. Two receivers going wide to the right for the Hawks, one man to the left. The freshman Polston working out of the gun. Polston, snap, quick pass, caught near side of the field and pushed out of bounds. Short gain that time. Number 11, Carter Farrick was the receiver. As it'll bring up a second out at 7. Clock continuing to, now they stop the clock with 11:39 left to go in the first half.
I think it's actually Farrick Carter. I think Carter's the last name.
Oh, I had the names correct.
Yeah.
Mixed up there. That's my
no
fault.
Problem.
Out of the gun. Snap. Stretch play, near side of the field, cuts it back. Little bit of room that time, but not a whole lot doing there. As once again, Plainfield in on the stop. Number 59, Isaac. Now, how did we go with the pronunciation on that? Is it Mascalaire?
That's, I think, if you pronounce it the French way, it would be Masquelier. But, yeah, probably the Americans would pronounce it Mascalaire.
Well, we're in America, Lex.
Yeah, so that's what I would go with. So he picks up 3 yards there.
So third down coming up for Decatur Central. 11 minutes left to go in the first half. They're facing a third down and about 5 yards to go. Snap, quick drop, throws. It is incomplete.
All right.
On the near side of the field. As the aforementioned, I know I can get this name right. Number 11, Farrick Carter, dropping the ball or unable to pick the ball up. It was kind of a low pass. It had been probably short of the first down anyway. And now a fourth down coming up for Decatur Central.
Now, who was the rusher on that last play?
I believe that was Cox.
Okay, yeah. So I wonder if Casey Berry is injured tonight. He's Decatur Central's leading rusher on the season, and he has not carried yet, so he very well could be injured. So now the Quakers will get the ball back, a chance to get that 2-possession lead back.
Snap, kick is away. It's a line drive-ish kick. It'll be taken at about the 35 by Larison. Big hole across midfield. He's into Decatur Central territory, still going all the way down near the 40. Troy Larison with a big return, and man, he has got one speed lack, and that is go.
Yeah, and you can tell he's looking for that breakaway, to get the touchdown. So Plainfield starting off with excellent field position at the Decatur Central 41, leading 14-7. They led 14-0. Decatur Central started to get some momentum and get back in the game. Now Plainfield tried to take the momentum back and take a commanding lead.
One receiver goes wide to the left, 2 men on the near side of the field to the right. Plainfield moving from left to right on your computer screen. Quakers working out of the gun. Newell, there's the give to Larison, and he is piled up in the center of the field. No gain that time, and it'll bring up a second down. The Quakers in the home red uniforms, white letters and numbers, gray pants, gray helmets. Hawks of Decatur Central in the road whites, gold numbers, gold pants, and blue helmets.
There's some kind of smoke out there in the student section. It looks like a rock concert.
And somebody's very loud.
Yeah,
that's the band. That's the drum line is out there hitting the drums, and they're being very loud at this football game, which I guess is the point.
Yeah, of course, it's a great homecoming crowd here tonight.
Working out of the gun is Newell. 2 receivers wide to the left, 1 man in tight right. Snap back to pass. Newell steps up, throws, and it is incomplete on the far side of the field. He was pressured as not a lot of time there for Newell, and now a third down coming up. A great opportunity by Plainfield off that Larison return, putting the ball in Decatur Central territory all the way down at the 41, but have not been able to move the ball yet on first or second down.
Well, my guess is that if and there's Rob, look, there's a woman out there wearing the Mescalier or whatever. A couple actually, they're wearing his name and number out there in the crowd, presumably relatives or maybe girlfriend, who knows. But anyway, and now there's a penalty. I didn't see that, so it's going to be against the Quakers, a holding. Okay, so now Plainfield, it takes it all the way back to the Plainfield 40. So now all of a sudden, 2nd and 19. So really wiping out.
Yeah, boy, they're going to put that. Boy, that was maybe a personal foul because it's all the way back at the 40.
That would then there'd be 2nd and 29. Then it says 2nd and 19, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. So
back, rolling right side, rolling, throwing on the run. Got a man caught on a slide up near the 47.
That was Hessling.
Yeah, so Hessling that time, as you said. And by the way, make sure if you're listening to us tonight, I know people are popping in all throughout the broadcast, tell your friends. They can listen to the broadcast live. Of course, we also have on-demand. Broadcast goes up shortly after the conclusion of the game. You can listen to it there. And, of course, we have the Brian Woodard Show, which comes your way. We usually have that up on Sunday. I know it's listed as a Monday just to give us a little wiggle room there, but we usually have that up on a Sunday as well. So everything you need to know about Plainfield football, you can find it right here. Tell your friends. That's why the sponsors sponsor the broadcast. They want you to listen. They want a lot of people to listen. There's a handoff, and I believe that was Larison that time. He'll get right to midfield. So a 4th down coming up as the clock continues to move inside of 9 minutes left to go in the first half. It's still 14-7 Plainfield affair, but a disappointing drive that time, Lack. 3rd in a row after that great field position. Plainfield will be forced to punt it away.
Well, hopefully we'll get the punt down, inside the 10. And, his last punt took a really good bounce, ended up going 45 yards. So hopefully we'll get a repeat of that.
Again, to kick it away, number 96, Tyler Blake. Snap is good. Kick is away. High kick, spiraling. It'll hit at the 20. It'll take a huge bounce inside the 10.
Yes.
And another perfect use of that field turf. That's the thing that's really changed in high school football, because almost all these Central Indiana schools have field turf now. Of course, when we started doing these games years ago, everyone basically had grass, other than I think it was McCutcheon had that super field up there in Lafayette, and it used to be very hard to be able to do that with the football, but now on this field turf you can basically guess the bounce, and as a result, Plainfield able to, and the kicker Tyler Blake able to use that effectively, and it'll go right out of bounds at the 10-yard line, no return, and a nice job.
So hopefully, we'll do at worst a 3 and out here, if not a turnover. So Decatur Central lining up 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back, quarterback, and shotgun.
Snap, stretch play to the far side. He's got the corner, but a nice job stretching him out by the Plainfield defense, not letting him go forward once he got near that corner. Again, the running back that time was number 23, Jordan Cox.
And it looks like he's injured. He's down. Oh, no.
Again, he looked like he got the corner, but then I don't know if that was a linebacker that kind of moved laterally with him, and he could not turn up the field, even though he got past the end. And as you said, injured player on the sideline, although he got out of bounds, so I don't think they're stopping the game here because he's on the track. He's literally on the track on the far side of the field. So a huddle around the injured player, Cox, but they're not stopping the game because he's out of any potential harm's way. Pass caught on the far side of the field. That was nearly intercepted, and he also nearly got behind both defenders. Looked like they were both fighting for the ball, so it could have either been great for Plainfield, could have been a disaster for Plainfield. As a result, it's a catch. It kind of the middle ground there. It'll bring up a 3rd down and short from about the 19-yard line for the Hawks.
Who was the receiver?
I couldn't tell. Too small in numbers, too yellow in numbers on white jerseys, too far away. Working out of the gun now. Decatur Central taking its time. Some confusion there by the Hawks as they move some players around.
4 on the play clock.
Snap, give, drives for Cops. Oh, he's got a big hole, and he can go the distance. He's inside the 40, 50, 40. Great takedown from behind by number 5, Harrison Herbeck, to save a score, but that was a disaster for Plainfield as the ball all the way down inside the 35. They'll mark him down at the 32. Give Harrison Herbeck a lot of credit. He was able to catch him from behind, but not before a big gain.
Was that Cox again?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so 49 yards there. He was his first 5 went only for 10, but he got 49 there, so quite a turnaround.
So clock moves inside of 7 minutes, in a great position now for Decatur Central as darkness encompasses the Plainfield football field. Now, lights taking full effect. Snap, quick drop, moves his feet a little bit that time, goes on the far side of the field, pass, and he had a man wide open, and the receiver for some reason stopped running. I believe that was number 1, Taquan Taylor. Although it's so hard to see on those numbers on the far side of the field. Like, turn around, man.
Yeah.
He will not turn around so we can see this number. Well, he's still not turning around. He's moving literally sideways. It's though he's mocking us, Leck.
Yeah.
There it is. I believe that was number 1, Taquan Taylor.
Yeah, he's
It was incomplete. We know that much. With 6:39 to go in the first half, it is a 14-7 affair. 2nd down and 10 coming up for Decatur Central from the Plainfield 32.
Come on, boys. It's going to stop here.
Snap, give straight ahead as Cox runs into a wall, tries to break free, can't, and a host of Quakers on the tackle that time, including number 12, Gavin Hendry.
So now we got him third and long. We got to get him off the field this time. As they hold Cox for no gain there after his 49-yarder earlier on this drive. Nearly halfway through this second quarter now. It's been a wild and woolly game already of wild momentum swings. Plainfield still with the lead, 14-7, but Decatur Central seems to have the momentum now.
Ball at the 32. As you said, Leck, 3rd and long now. Good opportunity for this Plainfield defense. Out of the gun, snap, back to pass, steps up, fires down the far side of the field, and it is.
We got a flag.
Caught. Flag flies. It's probably going to be interference on Plainfield, but it won't matter because that ball was caught inside the 10-yard line, and I believe that was number 11, Ferrick Carter, on the reception. So even though he was interfered with, yes, it will be. They're going to put him all the way down at the 5-yard line. So a 1st down and goal coming up for Decatur Central. 5:47 left to go in the first half.
And what's really disappointing, Rob, is that twice now with the freshman quarterback, when it was 3rd and long, they came through, and stuck it to us like that. Last time it was for a touchdown. This time possibly to set up a touchdown, taking it from the 32 to the 5, 27 yards. So come on, boys, let's get a stop here.
Out of the gun, 1st and goal from the 5. Snap, give, straight ahead, nowhere to go. Now cuts it back. He's got a hole inside the 2 to the 1. It's a touchdown. Touchdown by Decatur Central. Plainfield stopped it up the middle, but the running back, I believe, man, these numbers are so hard to see. It looks like, could that be 4? Trayvon Callahan?
Yeah, he's a running back, yeah.
And I believe that's who it was who ran it in for the touchdown. Again, these numbers are gold on white, and that was on the far side of the field, as far away from us as you could be, and did not hear the press box announcement. So now an opportunity for number 15, the kicker, Ashton Vogel, to tie the game. Snap, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Plainfield nearly able to block at that time. Vogel able to get the kickoff, and so with 5:30 to go in the first half, it's now a tie ball game, Leck, 14 apiece.
Yeah, very, very disheartening turn of events here. And remember, Decatur Central gets the ball first to start the second half also. So it's very important that Plainfield gets something going on this ensuing drive to get the momentum back. Because it would be devastating when you've lost 13 in a row to one team, and then you lead them 14-0 in the first quarter. It would be devastating to lose that game and make it 14 in a row, especially because Decatur Central once again is in our sectional.
Yeah, injured Hawk down. That's why the delay in the game right now on the extra point. Now it looks like he's going to be able to be pulled up, so hopefully he will be okay. I believe that's 33, Alberto Murillo, a senior, and he looks like he's going to be okay. Yes, he is walking, so that's good. He'll be getting off under his own power. And Plainfield now will have the ball. And like you said, Leck, super dominant. It's not just that you got down to a 14-0 lead, but you looked super dominant in that process.
Yeah.
And since then, it has not gone well for the Quakers.
No, it hasn't. But, it's a sign, first of all, just that this is, even when a great program is having an off year, it's still a great program. And, you can tell that Decatur Central has the pieces in place. And then I think Polston, even though he's played like a freshman for most of the season, he is going to be a great one. And Decatur Central has had so many great players in the last decade, including Tommy Stevens, who made the NFL, their quarterback, who he was a senior in 2014, and Lucaeus McNeil, their sensational defensive lineman, played for the University of Louisville, has been in at least 2 or 3 NFL camps. And then Tyrone Tracy went out to Iowa. I mean, there's just a long list of, college guys.
There's the kick. It'll be taken by Williams at the 2, across the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Goes forward across the 25 and across the 30 and still driving, and he'll get up to about the 38-yard line. So Plainfield, even though they haven't been able to capitalize on it, has had some really nice field position to start several of these drives.
Yeah, now that they've got to take advantage of it now. 5:21 to go, still 2 timeouts. Let's just do what they did on the first 2 drives.
37-yard line is where the Quakers will start this one. 5:21 left to go in the first half. So 3 poor drives in a row of really nothing. I don't think they've gotten a first down the last 3 drives.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think it's been 3 and out every time. So now we're two receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Williams, the running back, Newell in shotgun.
Here comes Newell out of the gun. Snap, give is Williams. He'll cut it back, and not much doing that time. Tried to take it to the left side of the field, and really nothing doing at the line of scrimmage. So a 2nd down and long, and that has been the MO those previous 3 drives, has been a 2nd and long, followed by a 3rd and long, and it's really resulted in the 3 consecutive 3 and outs.
And another thing that's really frustrating is that twice now Decatur Central was at 3rd and long and then came through and just, spit in our eyes, first with the touchdown and then with the play that set up a touchdown. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Williams, the running back. Newell in shotgun, 4:42 to go and counting in the second quarter. Game tied at 14.
Out of the gun, snap, play action, Flushed out, right side, rolling, throwing, and it is short. The intended receiver was Hessong. And again, another theme that has emerged these last several drives is that Newell has not had time to plant his feet and look down the field.
Yeah, Decatur Central, they've really clamped down defensively, and I give them credit for that. I mean, the way that they've really changed the momentum of this game.
4:29 left to go in the first half. And again, it's interesting, Leck, and right about the time you started commentating, for years and years and years, Plainfield was smash mouth football.
Oh, yeah.
And they've gotten away from that over the years. And you wonder right now, could they play some smash mouth football, but they're not really constructed to do that anymore against this Decatur Central line, because passing is not very effective right now. And Brian Woodard is going to burn another timeout as it's a 3rd and long coming up for Plainfield.
Yeah, and Rob, my rookie year back in 2012, actually, that was, I guess, the last year of that era. Basically, the focal point of the offense was a senior running back named Austin Blevins. I don't know if he ever played in college or not, but he was a great running back, and he was handling the ball. I believe he rushed on 58 or 59% of Plainfield's offensive plays that year and accounted for 70% of their offense. Or maybe it was the opposite, but it was some extraordinarily high number. And the starting quarterback was a senior by the name of Jacob J. And basically, he didn't do much other than hand off to Blevins. But then, the next year it was completely different. Brady Nichols, who was a senior, stepped in as the starting quarterback, threw a lot. They still had 2 great running backs that year with Josh Miller, a senior who went on to Ball State, and Jacob Maple, a sophomore who unfortunately had an injury-plagued career after that season, but certainly was great as a sophomore. And hold that thought. But
all right, 3rd down coming up. Plainfield needs 10 yards. Snap, back to pass. Throws, got a man caught, spins out of one tackle, lost the ball, and now they'll call it an incomplete pass. So Larison had the ball, was moving at a very high rate of speed, so fast that he spun out. Almost like something you'd see in Madden there, Leck.
Yeah.
And then the ball came loose, so lucky for him because Decatur Central fell on it. They ruled it an incomplete pass.
So now this is potentially dangerous. I mean, Decatur Central is going to get the ball back tied over 4 minutes to go in all 3 timeouts. So our defense now, the pressure is really going to be cranked on for them to make some kind of play.
Working out of the punt formation now, as number 96, Tyler Blake, will kick it away. He's done a great job punting so far tonight. Snap, kick is clean, gets it away, barely. It's straight up in the air. It will hit, it will bounce in favor of Plainfield, but not by much, and the ball will be down near midfield. He was feeling all sorts of pressure and was able to kick that ball straight up in the air. Unfortunately, lost a lot of distance with it.
It looked to me like somebody got a hand on it. I think it was partially blocked.
So Decatur Central in business now, ball at the 49-yard line.
All right, come on, boys, we need to stop here. And remember, if Decatur Central were to get a score here, that would be a potential disaster because they also get the ball first to start the second half.
So again, we welcome those of you tuned in tonight. If you get an opportunity, hit that like button there on the page and let us know you're here. We certainly appreciate that. Tell your friends as well. Snap, give straight ahead, runs into a host of tacklers that time. Number 23, Cox, the running back. So nice job again by Plainfield defensive line. They've generally held Cox in check other than that one large run on the last drive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was 5 for 10, and then all of a sudden broke through for 49. Now 2nd and 8 for the Hawks at the Plainfield 47, 3:45 to go and counting. They're still in huddle with 16 on the play clock. They look content to take their time.
Well, and why wouldn't you? Plainfield down to 1 timeout, and obviously with all 3 timeouts, Decatur Central knows they can go and go quick.
Yeah, I think they want to score with as little time left as possible.
Working out of the gun, snap, give straight ahead, and that's a bigger hole that time. Was that Cox again? I think so, yes. And he's down to about the 41-yard line. He's going to be about 2 yards shy of a first down. So big 3rd down opportunity coming up here for Decatur Central. They are tied with Plainfield. 3rd down and 2 coming up from the 41.
Got to get a stop here, 3rd and 2. We got to get them off the field. 3 minutes 3 minutes to go now and counting. Fans here on the Plainfield side of the field chanting defense, defense.
Snap, give, and he is going to be hit and dropped.
Right.
Great tackle that time in the backfield. Number 25, Carter Ferguson with the hit. It'll be 4th and 2 coming up from the 41-yard line.
So great team effort there. Boy, that'd be great if we could get a stop here. 2:25 to go and counting now, by the way. Decatur Central still with all 3 timeouts. Plainfield with 1.
Decatur Central taking their time as the clock winding down towards 2 minutes left to go in the first half. They'll put the ball just inside the 41. They need to get to the 39, so about 1.5 yards here, and I think Decatur Central's going to let this thing run and then call a timeout, running as much clock as they can. They're going to let it go right to the 2-minute mark and call a timeout before they run this very important play.
Yeah, so anyway, for those of you just joining us, let me catch my breath and catch you all up. Plainfield started off this game like they were going to win by 50 on the first play from scrimmage. Hunter Newell passed 71 yards to Troy Larison for a touchdown. And then after Decatur Central failed to score on their first possession, then Antonio Williams got a 3-yard touchdown rush for Plainfield, making it 14-0. However, then Decatur Central cranked up their defensive intensity and their offensive intensity. They cut it to 1 possession with 1:42 to go in the quarter when freshman quarterback Bo Polston passed 68 yards to Chris Richmond for a touchdown. And then finally, with 5:30 to go in the second quarter, Trayvon Callahan rushed 5 yards for a touchdown. And all 4 extra points were good, bringing us to our current score of 14-14. Now Decatur Central has the ball 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 41. 4th and 1 at the Plainfield 41 with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. They are going for it.
I formation in the backfield. 2 receivers in tight to the left. Polston down under center. This is the first time we've seen him under center tonight. It's quarterback sneak. Looks like he caught Plainfield off guard. It's going to depend on the spot. And now the ball's loose. Plainfield saying they got the ball back. No signal yet by the referees. They don't appear interested in that. Plainfield came away with the football. I don't know what's going on here.
I haven't. It looks like we've got an official timeout.
I don't know. I don't know if they're saying they stopped the play before Plainfield took the football. That must be what they're saying because Plainfield definitely had the ball.
Okay, they're measuring. Okay.
So here comes the measurement. It looks from here like he got it, but we'll see. It'll obviously depend on when they pull this chain. It's going to be real close. I think he got it, but we'll see. All right, there's the stretch. And it is short.
Yes,
oh,
yes,
boy, that was
yes.
So close.
All right.
That was so close.
Oh, God.
Man.
Oh, my God. I think that was like 1 inch, seriously. All right. So Plainfield now takes over 60 yards shy of the end zone with 1 timeout and the game tied.
All right, so interesting strategy here for Brian Woodard. You have not moved the ball the last 4 times you've had it. You're in your own territory. Do you try to run the ball, at the very least force Decatur Central to use these timeouts? Maybe Decatur Central's content to go into the locker room, or do you play for points and potentially give the Hawks the ball back? Looks like I'm going to answer my own question here.
Yeah.
They're going 3 wide to the left. 1 man in the backfield is Larison. Newell out of the gun. Man goes in motion from left to right. Snap. Give is to Larison, and boy, he got hit and he got murdered there. Huge hit in the backfield. Tried to catch the Quakers off, or to catch the Hawks off guard, and Decatur Central will very quickly burn a timeout with 1:38 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, and I think they should go for the points first of all because they need to get some offensive momentum back after 3 or 4 dud possessions in a row, and also, in addition, to try to, induce the Hawks to use their timeouts so that if they do get the ball back, it'll be much harder for them to score. And besides that, remember, Decatur Central has the momentum, and they've got the momentum, and they get the ball first to start the second half. So it'd be great if we could get some sort of score here to get the momentum back and get the lead back. 'Cause we are tied now after leading 14-0. So it's very disheartening the way that, things have fallen apart for us. That I don't think we have even one first down after those first 2 possessions. We've got to change that. So now back to action here. 3 receivers to the left. Very aggressive formation. Hunter Newell in shotgun. I believe Troy Larison is still in there at running back. He had the 71-yard touchdown reception, but he's been completely stuffed on the ground. I have him 5 rushes for -2 yards.
Working out of the gun again. 3 receivers to the left. Lone man in the backfield. Newell out of the gun. Snap. Give Larison. He'll cut it to the near side of the field. He's got some room across the 40, across the 45, and a flag flies in late towards the back of the play. I don't know if that's going to be a hold or what. That came from an official who was nowhere near the play, but man, did he should be on an Olympic team for how far he threw that flag.
Yeah, and it looked to me, I couldn't completely tell because the Plainfield players on the sidelines were standing in the way. It looked to me like it might have been a horse collar tackle, but no, it's going to be against the Quakers.
Yeah, illegal block by Plainfield, and boy, that's a tough one because that came from somebody who was nowhere near that play, and now it'll move them all the way back. That was a nice run that time, and another. I mean, it just seems like we just keep repeating the same thing every time, Leck, where we end up in these 2nd and 3rd and forevers. And as good as this line is for Decatur Central, you're just not going to have time. Boy, they're still going, all the way back to the 28-yard line. So now it'll bring up nope, now they're going to move back. Boy, this official has been way off a couple times on where to spot the ball. So now they'll set it at the 34. You need the 49, so a 2nd and 15 coming up because it was a spot of the foul rather than a line of scrimmage foul that time. 3 receivers go wide to the left and nobody to the right. Working out of the gun is Newell. Snap. Give Larison, and boy, I thought he had a hole there, and they closed that up real quick. He was about 1 second away, and he could have run forever, but give Decatur Central credit, a host of Hawks closing that up, coming from out of nowhere, and they now find themselves, Plainfield does, in a 3rd and very long, ball at the 35, and so it'll be we'll call it a 3rd and 15, another timeout by Decatur Central, 1:09 to go in the first half.
So now a very big play for the Quakers, 3rd and 14. Now, even if Decatur Central does get the ball back, it would be with probably only about 30 seconds left and, no timeouts. But, boy, if Plainfield could get a first down here, and we still got a timeout left, by the way, then, we would have a fair shot to get down at least in field goal range to get, at least get the lead back and establish some kind of offensive momentum because I believe, Rob, that we have not gotten a single first down after those first 2 possessions when we were just completely dominant. And, even what makes it even more the most disheartening is that one possession that we started from the Decatur Central 41 after that really good punt return by Troy Larison.
Okay, so here's what's interesting. Decatur Central has no timeouts left. So it is 3rd down. So if you're Brian Woodard, you would probably think that they will just keep this on the ground. You'll be able to run this clock down to where it'll leave little time left for Decatur Central. So, but, let's see. Oh, and they got an offside.
All right.
Boy, great job that time by Newell, drawing Decatur Central offsides with that clap. And, boy, that's a free 5 yards for Plainfield. But, again, I just think, like, as much trouble as you've had running the football, that if you can run, or moving the football, I should say, if you can run it here, keep it in bounds, if you don't get a first down, you still move this ball because it's now a 3rd down and 10. Ball's at the 39, they need the 49. But we'll see what Brian Woodard has planned here. Snap. It is indeed going to be a run. It's up the middle, and he's going to be, that's Hessung to the 45. He'll be about 5 yards short of a first down, but you can run that clock now down to about 20 seconds before you'll have to punt the football.
Well, yeah, that was a good effort there by Hessung. And so now the pressure is going to be on the Plainfield defense to come out and really stop the Hawks when they get the ball first to start the second half to make sure they don't take that lead.
Looks like Woodard is going to be content here to run this thing down to the last second and then burn a timeout.
Yeah. So there would only be about 23 seconds left then. So 3, 2, 1. So Plainfield takes its last timeout, 22.8 seconds to go in the second quarter, game tied at 14. Plainfield scored the first 14 points, and Decatur Central then came back to tie it.
All right, so let's thank the sponsors again who make Plainfield football possible. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield Mortgage Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, MyIT Indy at myITindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn. We're coming to you live tonight from Plainfield High School, where the Quakers are tied at 14 with the Hawks of Decatur Central. It's a 4th down and 5 coming up, or they'll call it 4 on the board, from the 45 of Plainfield, and it looks like they're going to punt it away. He will send the kicker, number 96, Tyler Blake, on to boot this punt away. And hopefully, I'm sure Plainfield thinking, let's move as much time as we can and try to get this thing into the locker room at a tie ball game. Out of the punt formation.
Main thing, don't let them block it.
Snap is good. Kick is away. And it will be short. It will hit, and now will spin backwards. So after 2 really good punts, a couple of suspect punts, as the ball will be placed out of bounds at the 40 of Decatur Central. 15 seconds to go in the first half. Decatur Central out of timeouts.
Well, 8:10 is your time of day, and I think this is the longest first half that we've done all year. And this is game 6 out of 9 for the regular season.
Yeah, and now the problem for Decatur Central, you have no timeouts. So even if you complete a long pass, the time it would take, and then the clock will move as soon as the chains are set, you really got to probably one play, try to get out of bounds, and then maybe take a shot at the end zone. We'll see.
And they have the athletes to do it.
Snap, back to pass, steps up, flushed out. He's going to be hit and dropped. And so without any timeouts left, that will be about the end of the first half. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That will do it. So one half is in the books, and I will turn it over to Lex Zorn for our halftime show. It is Decatur Central and Plainfield knotted at 14 here on Audio Sports Online.
Well, thank you, Rob. Well, I'll tell you, it's been a wild and woolly game of big plays and wild momentum swings. You know, Plainfield entered this game on a 13-game losing streak to Decatur Central, their geographic rival, just 8 miles from here in southwest Indianapolis. In fact, of those 13 games, 4 of them came in the playoffs. So, you know, obviously a lot of very bitter memories here that Plainfield has from its games against Decatur Central over the last decade. But Plainfield started off this game with a lot of confidence, like they were going to end the losing streak. On the first play from scrimmage, Hunter Newell passed 71 yards to Troy Larison for the touchdown. Cameron Grimes was good on the extra point, making it 7-0. Then after Decatur Central punted, Plainfield scored again on a 3-yard touchdown, a 3-yard rush from Antonio Williams. And Grimes hit the extra point, making it 14-0. Plainfield then got the ball back with a chance to take a 3-possession lead, but then all of a sudden Decatur Central's rushing defense became dominant. Plainfield punted, and then Decatur Central got back in the game with 1:42 to go in the first quarter on a 68-yard touchdown pass from freshman quarterback Bo Polston to Chris Richmond. Ashton Vogel hit the extra point, making it 14-7. And then with 5:30 to go in the second quarter, Decatur Central tied it on a 5-yard touchdown, a 5-yard touchdown rush from Trayvon Callahan and an extra point by Vogel. And it was really a tale of 2 games. You know, Plainfield started off just running on all cylinders, carrying that momentum that they established last week at Greenwood with that sensational, almost A-plus performance in that 43-14 win over the Woodmen. And then it was like they just, after 2 possessions, just stopped doing what, got them the lead. And then, Decatur Central clamped down. Their rushing defense played very well. Plainfield got in a lot of 2nd and 10s, 3rd and 10s, and just did not respond well to it. And meanwhile, even with a freshman quarterback, Decatur Central played with a lot of courage and a lot of ambition. And Plainfield still made some stops, but Decatur Central did get the momentum back. So anyway, before I forget, let's look at the individual statistics. First of all, for Plainfield, Hunter Newell, a mixed game. He's completed 5 of 9 passes for 105 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Troy Larison has 1 reception for 71 yards and a touchdown. Noah Hessing, 4 receptions for 34 yards. On the ground, not much to report. Hessing is the only one who's done much. 5 receptions for 26 yards. Antonio Williams does have the touchdown, but only 2 carries for 3 yards. Larison 6 for 0. They've really had his number tonight, and they've really clamped down on him. And then Hunter Newell 1 for -9. Meanwhile, for Decatur Central, I have Bo Polston completing 6 of 11 passes for 152 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Through the air, Chris Richmond, the leading receiver with 3 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown. Desmond Coleman 1 for 38, Daquan Taylor 1 for 7, and Farek Carter 1 for 4. On the ground for Decatur Central, Jordan Cox 10 rushes for 68 yards, Trayvon Callahan 1 for 5 yards and a touchdown, and Bo Polston 4 for -10. So, in conclusion, looking to the second half, Decatur Central gets the ball first. They did not move the ball that well, toward the end of the second quarter. So what Plainfield's got to aim to do is no worse than a 3 and out, and then get the ball back, and then just start doing what gave us the success of those 2 possessions. And also what gave us that success last week at Greenwood. Like I said in the pregame segment, we had 6 players score touchdowns last week. We had 6 touchdowns all by different players, 3 rushing, 3 receiving. The rushers, the people who got the rushing touchdowns, Hunter Newell, Antonio Williams, and Hunter Newell, Antonio Williams, and sorry, let me get my notes here. Hunter Newell, Antonio Williams, and Troy Larison, and then the receivers who got the touchdowns were Noah Hessing, Caden Vanderbush, and Grant Irwin. Speaking of Irwin, we've got to get him into the action. He has no receptions so far, and he's averaging nearly 20 yards per reception this year, including a team-high 4 touchdowns. So we just got to do what gave us that, momentum early on, and we got to try to rattle Polston, the freshman, and just try to just take him out of the game, and or make him just rattle him, make him throw before he's ready. Hopefully, give him a couple of good sacks, and I think if we can, contain him and shake his confidence, and take him out of his game plan, don't give him as much time as he wants, I think he'll start to play more like a freshman, and that'll play into our favor. But I think what we need to do, hold them to a 3 and out, if not a turnover on this first possession when Decatur Central gets the ball to start the second half, then get a touchdown, make them play from behind in the second half, and hopefully, that'll play into our favor, and we'll hold on to get the win and break that 13-game losing streak. And, we've played well enough today that even if we lose this game by a close margin, I would still give us a fighting chance against Decatur Central if we run into them in the sectional, which is a good possibility. I mean, there's only 3 other teams in the sectional. But I would like our chances to beat them in the sectional a heck of a lot better if we were to beat them tonight and not go into the sectional knowing that we've got to break a 14-game losing streak to them. Well, right now, let's take a look at what the other 5 Hendricks County teams are up to. Starting in Class 6A, the Brownsburg Bulldogs having an outstanding season. They hold at number 1 for the second consecutive week in the AP poll. Last week, they got a solid win over currently 11th-ranked Fishers by a score of 41-29. Tonight, Brownsburg has a very tough opponent with the number 8-ranked Westfield Shamrocks, 2016 state champions in Class 5A, now a top 10 team in Class 6A. Then also in Class 6A, the Avon Orioles sadly look like they're on the brink of their second consecutive disastrous performance. Hard to believe just 3 years ago. I mean, their second consecutive disastrous season. Hard to believe just 3 years ago. 9-0 in the regular season before that heartbreaking first-round playoff loss to Brownsburg. Finished number 1 in the AP poll the last 8 weeks of the regular season, and now just completely falling apart. They went 5-5 the next year, 1-9 last year with the only win coming in the regular season finale against Noblesville. Now it looks like that's what's going to happen this year. The Orioles last Friday lost 38-21 to Franklin Central. Tonight, another probable loss as they play 11th-ranked Fishers. And, I wonder if that playoff loss to Brownsburg 3 years ago, is going to turn out to be just the beginning of the downfall of the Mark Bless era, which has produced so many great memories, including trips to the semi-state in 2015 and 2017. Moving down to Class 3A, Tri-West remains perfect at 5-0. They hold at number 5 this week after last week's 24-21 win over Danville, one of only 2 intra-county games here in Hendricks County this year. The Bruins tonight should get a fairly easy win as they visit 3-2 Lebanon. Speaking of Danville, the Warriors have played an extraordinarily tough schedule this year. They are 2-3, though much better than the record indicates. Tonight they got another tough opponent as they go on the road to play the number 1 ranked team in Class 2A, the Southmont Mounties. There in Sagamore Conference action. Southmont is 5-0, and finally down in Class 2A, Cascade dropped to 2-3 last week with a 50-12 loss in Indianapolis to Lutheran, the number 1 ranked team in Class 1A. Tonight Cascade should get back on track and even its record at 3-3 as they're on the road playing the North Putnam Cougars. North Putnam located in the lovely community of Rochdale. And when I was commentating Cascade and their teams played, I commentated Cascade football and boys and girls basketball, and I always insisted that when I referred to North Putnam, I always insisted that Rochdale is a much lovelier community than its name. By the way, the last time I commentated a game there in Rochdale, which was, when was that, 4 years ago when Cascade played there in the second round of the playoffs, I did a little bit of research and found out, I was curious as to where they got their name, where Rochdale got its name. They were named after Judge Roach. So I found the answer very easily on their Wikipedia page. And they also have an annual roach racing contest, too. I bet that's interesting. I wonder if ESPN has ever showed roach racing. I didn't like it in the early 80s when in early mornings they would show Body by Jake on ESPN and try to pass it off as a sport. But anyway, right now with 4:28 to go here on the halftime clock, I'd like to talk a little bit about this rivalry between Plainfield and Decatur Central and the 13-game losing streak. Times have changed since September 22nd, 2012. That was 10 years ago yesterday, and that was the last time that Plainfield beat Decatur Central in football. Back at that time, Barack Hussein Obama was president, Joseph Biden was vice president, Mitch Daniels was governor, and Mike Pence was running for governor. And I believe Donald Trump was still hosting The Apprentice at that time. I don't remember exactly when that ended. But anyway, that was only the 5th game I ever commentated in my commentary career. My first ever game was week 2 that year. And anyway, at that time, Audio Sports Online had about 8 schools here in the Indianapolis area, and Rob assigned me to various schools every week. And in week 6, which would have been only my 5th game, he assigned me Danville at Frankfort. Danville was an audio sports online school at the time. And anyway, I drove up there to Frankfort to find out that the game had been postponed until 6 p.m. the next day because of lightning. And so anyway, Rob called me when I was on the way home and asked if instead of if instead of Frankfort and Danville, if the next day I would like to commentate the conclusion of the Decatur Central at Plainfield game, which had started, I think they played about 7 minutes or so, and then the rest of the game was postponed until, I think, 12 p.m. the next day. And I told Rob, well, I'll be glad to do both games. And he said, well, he doesn't want to give me too much work, but if I'm willing to do it, he said that's fine. And I really wanted to do it, and I did, thankfully. So anyway, I got the directions. I think I might have gotten the directions on MapQuest. That was 10 years ago when MapQuest was still a big thing. I'm not sure I had a maps feature on my phone yet at that time.
Are they still in business?
I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But anyway, so I found the directions here to Plainfield one way or the other, and commentated the game, and it was very, very, very close. And then in the third quarter, Eli Conlon, the great Decatur Central running back who went on to play collegiately for both Marion University and Franklin College, scored on a 96-yard reception on a screen pass, which at the time was the longest touchdown I'd ever commentated. Granted, only 5 games up to that point in my career. And I believe, if I remember correctly, that tied it. But then with about 40-some seconds left to go, Morgan Hagee, then only a sophomore, showed a preview of the future when he connected, I believe, on a 43-yard field goal, 42-43, somewhere in there, that gave Plainfield a 17-14 lead. And then on Decatur Central's ensuing possession, Taylor Douglas threw a pass that was intercepted by Plainfield's Hunter Newell to seal the win. And 13 Decatur Central victories have followed since then in the series, every year in the regular season, and then 4 in the playoffs. And I'll tell you, there are 2 plays in the last 13 games in this series that really epitomize what a thorn in the side that Decatur Central has been to Plainfield. Number 1. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just going to say, I saw our good friend Blake Woodard at halftime.
All
Got a chance
right.
to talk with him. And, it's so weird because, when I first met Blake, he was a very tiny child.
Yeah.
And now he's much larger than me.
Yeah. And I hope he's having a good collegiate career out there at DePauw for the Tigers. And certainly, a lovely community out there in Greencastle. And and glad that Coach Woodard is going to be able to follow his son's games. Although, Coach Woodard said he's open to being an assistant coach at a small college after his head coaching career ends this year. So maybe he'll end up coaching his son. Who knows? Certainly DePauw would be a lovely place to coach. But anyway, there are 2 moments that I think sum up this 13-game losing streak that Plainfield currently has going to Decatur Central and will hopefully end tonight. Number 1, back in 2019, in the playoffs at Decatur Central, I was commentating there. Decatur Central jumped off to a 7-0 lead. Plainfield got the ball, and then they took over at their own 30 on the first play of the drive. Senior running back Jarrett Stephen, who had just transferred to Plainfield that year after sitting on the bench for 3 years at Avon, where he was a terror on the freshman and JV teams, took the ball. Jarrett Stephen took the ball 67 yards from the Plainfield 30 to the Decatur Central 3. I thought, all right, great, we're going to score, and it's going to be 7-7. And then on I believe it was the next play, certainly it was later that drive, we drove toward the end zone, and I'm looking at the referees waiting for them to raise their arm, signaling touchdown. And all of a sudden, one of the Tracy kids for Decatur Central, there were so many of them, I lost track of them, like 6 or 7 Tracys over the last 8 years with, and they were all related. They weren't all brothers, some were cousins. And anyway, one of the Tracy kids comes out of the pile with the ball and a clear path to the end zone. He scores. So all of a sudden, it was going to be 7-7. Now it's 14-0, and Decatur Central went on to win the game easily. We ended that game with a running clock. Then last year, we're trailing 7-0. We have a punt, goes out of bounds all the way down at the Decatur Central 1. It's like, all right, perfect. We just got to hold him and then get the ball back in good field position. The first play of the ensuing drive, Caleb Hicks gets the ball, Decatur Central running back, takes it 99 yards for a touchdown. In 113 varsity games now, that is the only 99-yard touchdown rush I have ever commentated. So those two plays really sum up this losing streak, and all the more reason. I mean, to me, those two plays were like, just pouring glass cleaner on your wounds, And my brother, who lives in the Los Angeles area, ironically, he listens to my game sometimes, and he had just turned on the game in the 2019 playoff game when the Tracy kid took the ball, from just before the end zone and ran it back for the touchdown. And my brother said the way I sounded, it was like somebody had just gotten killed. So I took that one really hard.
On that uplifting note, it is time to begin the second half. Plainfield and Decatur Central knotted at 14. I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn. Plainfield in the home red jerseys, white letters and numbers, gray pants, gray helmets. Decatur Central, the visitors on the scoreboard, white road jerseys, gold letters and numbers, gold pants, blue helmets. Decatur Central will receive the kick to begin the second half. They will move from right to left on your computer screen.
All right. Score 14-14, and we hope we don't end up with a 14-game losing streak to the Hawks. Let's go, boys.
It's an end-over-end kick. It'll be taken at about the 12, across the 15 to the 20, 25, and tripped up as he crosses the 30-yard line. That time, number 10 for Decatur Central. That was Chris Richmond on the return.
Well, I give all the credit, though, to Justin Dixon, who was then he was the head coach at Decatur Central from 2009 to 2015. Now has served as the athletic director ever since, while Kyle Enright has been head coach the last 7 years. What Dixon did to instate the run and shoot offense here and make Decatur Central a perennial top 10, almost perennial top 5 program in Class 5A. It's an amazing achievement.
Snap, gives straight ahead, runs into a pile, tries to cut it back, and that goes nowhere as big old 59 for Plainfield. The aforementioned Isaac
Mescalier or whatever.
Mescalier or
whatever.
Isaac. With the big
I'll have to ask Coach Woodard about that. But nevertheless, did you see who the ball carrier was?
I believe that was Cox that time.
Cox has been the go-to guy, so I'm assuming that Casey Berry is not available tonight, which should be playing into our favor as Cox loses 2 there.
2 receivers going wide to the left, 1 man to the right. That's the far side of the field as the Hawks are moving from right to left on your computer screen. Snap, steps up, pump fake, now going to try to take off with it. Gets away from 1 tackler, but will not go much further. The quarterback, Polston, up to about the 30-yard line, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. I guess that will go as a sack because it looked like that initial line of scrimmage was the 31. Well, maybe not. Maybe he got the initial line of scrimmage. I don't know if they'd credit a sack or not. Host of Quakers were in on the tackle that time, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 12 from the 31-yard line.
It looks like they're going to cite it as no gain. So, but anyway, 3rd and 12, we got to get them off the field. It would be devastating if they converted this year.
Working out of the gun, 1 man in the backfield, 2 receivers on the right side, 1 man on the left. Snap, back to pass, steps up, has time, throws down the middle of the field. It is caught, spins out of a tackle. He's off to the races, inside the 40, inside the 30, still going, inside the 20, and he will dive towards the end zone, and it is going to be short at the 1-yard line. And that was the worst possible thing that could have happened to Plainfield right there, as I believe that was number 1, Taquan Taylor, on the reception.
Absolutely, absolutely devastating. Oh, my God, that was terrible. I mean, that's the 3rd time, I believe that's the 3rd time on 3rd and 10 or longer that we failed to get them off the field. You just got to get them off the field when they're in 3rd and long, especially with the freshman quarterback.
So what looked real promising there on those first 2 plays now ends up a 1st and goal from the 1 And let's see for Plainfield as they're anticipating a sneak of some sort, and that's what it is. And he drives forward, and he is short. He did not get into the end zone that time, Plainfield. And that really, with the big guy up there, 66, Christopher Strange for Plainfield, and he was in on that time. He is a load to move. I'm going to guess on the next play it will not go towards him.
Yeah, probably good guess there. So 9:39 to go. The game tied at 14. Decatur Central, however, just about a foot shy of the goal line, if that.
So let's see again if Plainfield can stop them. Let's see if they don't run it again. They are. They're going to sneak it again, and now a flag flies, and this could really hurt Decatur Central. That flag flew. They whistled the play dead. It was a quarterback sneak was the call. And let's see if that's on Decatur Central. It is. It's a false start.
All right.
So that's going to move them all the way back to the 6, which at least will probably eliminate the quarterback sneak from the play calling Rolodex. And they'll put it just outside the 5-yard, and they were right on the goal line that time. And now they're all the way back outside the 5.
Boy, this would be huge. I mean, even if they got a field goal here, they'd get the lead. But it just to not end up with the giving up the touchdown when it was 1st and goal at the 1, that would be a big win here for the defense.
Working out of the shotgun. 1 man to the left, 1 man to the right. Single man in the backfield, now 2 men in the backfield. A little bit of an offset formation there. Quarterback keeper goes forward, and he goes in untouched for the touchdown. They didn't do a quarterback sneak. They did a quarterback draw that time, and he found the hole, and that was all she wrote. Touchdown Polston, and Decatur Central now has taken a 20-14 lead with 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Well, Plainfield has just simply collapsed since their outstanding first 2 drives, and they've just got to get something going here on their next possession because they're in danger of this one slipping away. Still only down by 6 with the conversion pending here, but definitely a very disappointing turn of events. There is.
Now they dropped the kick. He'll fall on it. Vogel was not able to even get a foot on it. I don't know if that was a bad snap or a bad hold, but either way, it was no good. So that will hopefully work in Plainfield's favor if they can get down there and get some points. But I'll tell you what, Leck, you're only down 6, as you said, but man, it just feels like you've got no momentum in what is a very close game.
I mean, it's been 5 straight possessions with no first downs. And, I mean, after how well the defense played last week against Greenwood, how well the offense played last week against Greenwood, where we were just running on all cylinders, and where we had, like I said, 6 touchdowns, 6 guys, 3 rushing, 3 receiving.
Didn't you do a game where they scored over 100 points between the 2 teams that involved Decatur Central? Is that right?
Yeah, they scored 64-40 against Martinsville back in 2013 over at Lucas Oil Stadium, yeah. There was at least one, although I was originally signed, and J.P. Sinclair and one of his buddies ended up doing it, but I was originally signed the Decatur Central Perry Meridian game in week 2 back in 2013 that ended up becoming the highest scoring game in state history, 83-78, and not in overtime, by the way.
That's right.
And then I ended up doing Zionsville at McCutcheon that night, which was still fun, but yeah. And I remember I listened to that broadcast of that Decatur Central Perry Meridian game. It was 3.5 hours.
Well, we're an hour and a half in here, and it's a short kick and a fair catch signaled for and made at about the 31-yard line. That was number 3, Isaiah Miller for Plainfield. I think he wishes he had that back because he had a lot of room to run, but just taking the cautious approach there and making sure he secured the football. So it is 20-14 now the score. I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn. 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Plainfield desperately needs to get something going offensively. They have not been able. What is this? I think 5 drives in a row.
I think so. That sounds right.
That have not resulted in even 1 first down, and that's after they looked so dominant in the opening drive, 2 drives of the ball game.
So now Hessling lines up to the left. Irwin and Vanderbush to the right. We got to get those 2, especially Irwin, involved. Neither one has a reception tonight.
A little bit of a different formation now as 2 men to the left, 2 men to the right, 1 man in the backfield. We'll get to that in just a second. Throws on the run, got a man caught, and that is Isaiah Miller, and he's spinning forward up to about the 37-ish yard line. That was a gain of about 5 on first down. I mentioned the different formation. Brandon Hendry, number 44, kind of a fullback / wingman, is back there was the lone man in the backfield, and I'm guessing like maybe they did that time to provide some more blocking because it has just been the quarterback Newell has just had no time for Plainfield to throw the football.
And fortunately, he did get a decent gain there. Isaiah Miller with his first reception of the game. He's had some good moments lately.
2 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right. Larison, the lone man in the backfield, they give it to Larison, cuts it back and gets very little, maybe a yard, not much more. And again, they have just not been able to run the football tonight. Plainfield has struggled mightily, and it's now a 3rd down and maybe a long 4, short 5 coming up from the 37-yard line. And the problem here, Leck, is you let these Decatur Central players pin their ears back, when they know you're going to throw the football.
So it's, certainly they're, and I think maybe, if anything, it seems like maybe after Greenwood, we're just not prepared for Decatur Central speed also. But anyway, now 3 receivers to the left.
Yeah, 1 man to the right. Snap back to pass. Steps up, does have some time. Throws, got a man caught on the near side of the field. Boy, that's going to be super close.
Yeah,
it's going to depend on the spot. The official is now signaling first down.
Yes.
And so finally, I believe it took this is our sixth possession. I could be off by 1 there. Maybe it was 5. But either way, it's been forever since the first quarter, since we got a first down. And we'll take it. The ball up near the 43-yard line. And 7:32 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Plainfield with a fresh set of downs. 3 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right. Newell out of the gun. Larison, the lone man in the backfield. Snap high. That gives to Larison. He will drive forward, gets the initial line of scrimmage. Looks like the official is going to give him up near the 44, so they'll call it a gain of a yard.
So, yeah, Larison has been, obviously, with the obvious exception of the 71-yard reception for the touchdown. Well, that was a pass, but on the ground I have him 8 for 2. I mean, he's been completely stuffed in his rushing tonight.
Yeah, Larison's great in space, but, man, the line, they're just not getting any space for him. 3 receivers to go to the left, 1 man to the right. Snap, Newell, back to pass, throws. Got a man open in the flat. It's caught. He's got room to run across midfield, and it's a first down into Decatur Central territory. That was Grant Irwin on the reception.
Yeah, boy, glad we finally got him on the action. Our leading receiver on the season finally got his first reception of the game.
And it is down to the 46 of Decatur Central.
Boy, we needed that.
First down and 10. Plainfield clock moves. 6:35 and counting left to go in the 3rd.
So both Irwin and Miller each with his first reception of the game on this drive. So we're finally starting to get some offensive momentum back nearly halfway through this 3rd quarter, trailing by 6.
Out of the gun. Snap, rolling right side, rolling, throwing, going deep down the field. It is caught.
Did he get it?
Did he catch it?
Yes.
He did catch it.
Caden Vanderbush.
Yeah, he fell down, and the ball looked like it was being bobbled as the Decatur Central defender was really tight in coverage there. And when Vanderbush came down, it almost looked like he got stuck, at his midsection there. And great catch, first down and goal, Plainfield from the 10.
So now Vanderbush, Miller, and Irwin each with this first reception of the game on this drive. That's good because, the more weapons that we show we can hit them with, the more they have to scatter their defense.
First and goal, 2 receivers to the left. Antonio Williams, the lone man in the backfield. 1 man to the right. Snap to give us to Williams. He's got room to run, drives inside the 5, down around the 4. And I'll tell you what, Williams has run the ball pretty well tonight in limited action, and they're going to leave him in there. I like that. 2nd down and goal. Plainfield running a hurry-up offense here, and now Decatur Central is going to have to burn a timeout because they were out of position defensively. So Plainfield knocking on the door. 5:30 left to go in the 3rd. They're down by a score, 20-14.
And Rob, I like the strategy we're using on this drive. We're starting to throw the ball around. We got a reception to Miller, to Irwin, to Vanderbush. All of a sudden, it occupies a lot of their attention, and now we're starting to create some holes for our rushers. So, yeah, great change in strategy there. So things starting to look up for the Quakers. Now we just got to finish the job here. 4 yards shy of the end zone. 2nd and goal now. Decatur Central 20, Plainfield 14. 5:30 to go here in the 3rd quarter. The Quakers once led 14-0. Seems like a long time ago, but now They're 4 yards and then an extra point away from getting that lead back.
So 5:30 left to go in the third. It's 20-14. Plainfield trails Mooresville. Decatur Central. Boy, those uniforms look like Mooresville.
Yeah.
But knocking on the door here. Let's see if they can convert. Williams in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right.
Let's do it, boys.
Snap. Play action. Throwing off the hands of Hessing. He got his hands on it near the pylon, but the pass was a little firm and a little bit out of his reach, and he could not haul it in.
Okay, very critical third down here. I don't want it to come down to 4th and goal. I mean, we just got to punch it in here one way or another.
So the ball, a little surprised they ran that play there, Leck, because the ball's at the 4, and he just had a very effective run play with Williams. I like Williams in the backfield. I'd like to see that happen more often. 2 receivers to the right, 1 man to the left, Williams in the backfield. Snap. The give is to Williams. He's got a room, and he is in. Yes, touchdown.
All right. Game tied now with the conversion pending. We hit the extra point. We're back in the lead.
So Williams, boy, he got hit, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to fall forward because he was right at the goal line, and by the time he fell, he was able to lunge forward and got into the end zone, barely, but it all counts the same. Williams, nice job that time, 2 big runs, and Plainfield now has tied the ball game, chance to take the lead, pending the Cameron Grimes extra point.
So Williams only 4 carries tonight, but 2 of them went for touchdowns. And I'll tell you, I really think that he and Grant Irwin both, especially Irwin, but I think Williams to some extent, even with having barely played varsity ball until this year, they both got a shot to play collegiately next year, the kind of senior seasons they're having.
So here we go. Snap, spot, the timing was off.
Oh, no.
And it's incomplete. The timing was off. I don't know if they didn't snap the ball on time. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because there was an illegal shift. The kicker was moving before the ball was snapped. So I don't know whether they got the cadence wrong or what happened there.
Well, it looked to me like Grimes might have gotten a little bit overzealous. It looked to me like he tried to step before the snap, and I think it might have thrown off the holder. So the game remains tied. And Grimes now, his first miss in extra points on the year, 16 for 17. And, Grimes showing a lot of promise. He's only a sophomore. The first 5 years I commentated here, we had the Hagee brothers, Morgan for 3 years, then John 2. Both went up to Ball State. Morgan I didn't follow John as much. I know Morgan was Ball State's #1 kicker all 4 years he was there, and was one of the highest one of the highest field goal percentages in the NCAA. I guess never made the NFL, but certainly was a great college kicker. And really, since then, I've been hoping that we would, find another, really go-to kicker, and maybe it is Cameron Grimes, only a sophomore, so he's got 2 more years to keep on growing and maturing.
All right, so Plainfield, was there a pin? Oh, okay. The illegal shift was taken on the kickoff because the kick was no good. So the Plainfield will kick from 5 yards back of where they normally do. They normally kick at the 40. Now it's at the 35.
I don't know the name of the song, but they play it at sporting events a lot.
There's the kick, nice kick, end-over-end kick. It'll be taken at about the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Tries to cut it to the near side of the field, going sideways. Flag flies in, and still going. Another flag flies in, so pick your poison there. And not much of a return that time, up to about the 25.
Okay, Liam, my son just told me that song is, what's it called? It's Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Thank you, Liam. Liam's becoming quite a music connoisseur. He earlier noticed that they were playing September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Liam's become a big 70s R&B fan, too.
By the way, that was Chris Richmond on the return. We'll see what the flags are as the officials are sorting them out. He's now down on the field. He's trying to sit up. and then went back down. Leck, I've been meaning to ask you this
Yeah.
because of all the years I've been doing games and all the broadcasters we've had, no one has the photographic memory like you. By the way, the penalties are both on Decatur Central, so it'll be moving back. How do you do it? Like, how do you remember a game from 10 years ago? How do you do that?
It's just such a great passion of mine, and I've always been a number cruncher in addition to that, and
like I marvel at that. Like, I talk to people about that, about how you can remember a game from 10 years ago, and it wasn't like, oh, I did the Super Bowl 10 years ago. Like, you can do a normal high school football game, and you remember intricately what happened. It's amazing.
yeah, it's been a passion of mine for so long, and so I think when you do one game a week, that it's. Well, I'll explain more when we have a longer dead ball. But
all right, ball's at the 13, so it's 1st and 10 for Decatur Central. That penalty was against the Hawks. It moved them back to the 13-yard line. Snap, rolling to the near side of the field, now throwing back to the far side, and it nearly was picked off. Tried a little trickery that time. Number 10, Grant Irwin, almost with the interception, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, that would have been great if we made that interception there, but nevertheless, we got to get him off the field here. But yeah, I think one thing with me is that I visualize in my mind week to week, every year that those 9 weeks of the regular season, and then whatever playoff games I get to commentate, which is usually at least one every year, sometimes a little more, depending on how things go. Hold on, hold that thought.
Snap, give is to, I believe that's Cox, and Plainfield again in there to wrap him up.
All right.
Yeah, I have marveled at that for years and years and years and years, about how you remember every single game, and it is quite a feat.
Yeah, I remember all 113 so far, and hopefully many more over the years. It's. I think one thing that helps with me is my weekly ritual. I'll tell a little bit more about that later when we have more time. But yeah, 2 receivers to each side now for Decatur Central. Empty backfield, quarterback and shotgun on 3rd and 10. Let's get them off the field this time, boys.
Back to pass, going down the middle of the field, and it is caught. And a 1st down. Boy, how many times have
that's 4.
I mean, just gosh darn it, man. Had a 3rd and long and could not get him off the field. The person who caught the ball was injured.
God.
They've not seen him get up yet, so I can't tell who it was. It was caught just a little lob pass right down the middle of the field, and it was caught at the 35-yard line. So another missed opportunity there for the Quakers to get off the field, and unfortunately that time you had them really deep, Lex, so you probably would have got great field position.
Yeah.
This looks like it's in the area of a cramp, the way they're kind of working that. So hopefully that person's going to be okay. And while they do, Leck, it was just marveling at your memory.
Well, thanks. And one thing I do, I have a weekly ritual. Sunday tends to be the best day for me to do this. I sit down and I study the rosters of the 2 teams for the next game, and then if it's an opponent I'm not real familiar with, did you?
I can't see his number because his hair is so long.
He's got that Troy Polamalu look.
I mean, his hair is so long, it's hiding his jersey number.
Yep.
But at least he's able to walk off under his own power. So 1st down and 10 coming up for the Hawks from the 33-yard line, their own 33. So still a ways to go, but man, great opportunity by Plainfield. Did not come to fruition there.
Yeah, and that's if they lose this game, giving up 3rd down conversions, at least 4 of them now.
Give is straight ahead. Cox driving, and again a host of Quakers in there to wrap him up. I saw number 12 in there for Plainfield, Gavin Hendry, and a host of others.
We got to get him off the field now. But yeah, I study the rosters on Sunday. Usually, not the same day every week, but often Sunday, and read about the team, and there's always certain players I go to the game really looking forward to seeing, and So yeah, I think part of it is that I study the teams in advance, so I know who to look for. And hold that thought.
Out of the gun, snap, quick drop, throws, got a man caught near side of the field. Great open field tackle that time by Grant Irwin. He will be short of a first down by about 3 yards. Ball's at the 40. They need the 43.
That was Coleman there.
And so another big third down coming up. Plainfield with an opportunity potentially get to get Decatur Central off the field as the clock moves inside of 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Let's do it. I mean, third down conversions have just been killing us.
2 receivers wide to the right, 2 men wide to the left. Working out of the gun. Man goes in motion, and it's a quarterback keeper, and they got him from behind, and he's short. They faked the misdirection play, the guy coming off left end and around the right side, and by the time the quarterback decided to run the football, the Plainfield interior line was able to get in there and snag him, and now Decatur Central quickly up on the field. Let's see if they run it here. 4th down and about 3, and Plainfield moved.
Oh, no.
And it's going to be a first down for Decatur Central.
Oh,
I almost thought maybe it's a good idea you call a timeout there, get everything set and ready to go.
Yeah.
Plainfield elected not to do that, and they got caught off sides. They got caught off guard with that quick formation that time. And with 2:16 to go, it's another fresh set of downs for Decatur Central. Well, and the other thing, Lack, is eventually you just, you wear down out there too. You have to keep playing.
Yeah, I know. We just got to keep the intensity going.
2 minutes to go in the third. Fresh set of downs. Ball just outside the 45 for Decatur Central. Snap, quick drop, throwing to the far side of the field. It is caught, and that is very close to a first down as number 1 that time for Decatur Central. Taylor with the reception. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down at the 45. Maybe about a yard short. Needs the 44. So it'll be second down and 1 coming up for Decatur Central.
All right, we got to get a stop here. They are Decatur Central now in Plainfield territory at the 45. The game's still tied. Each team with a missed extra point here on their touchdown in the third quarter.
2 receivers wide to the left, 1 man to the right. Working out of the gun. Rolling now, misdirection play, throws it back. Guy's wide open. He's going to walk in for a touchdown. 15-10-5 touchdown. They have run that play multiple times tonight in various forms, and it has worked almost every single time in Plainfield. Man, they got a big issue with staying home, Leck.
Did you catch who made the touchdown?
I did not, because it was the far side of the field. Whoever it was, he could still be running.
Yeah, that was just completely blown coverage there.
Number 22.
Okay, Casey Berry. Okay. So Berry playing tonight after all. He's their leading rusher on the season. So
now the extra point attempt here with 1:05 left to go in the third quarter. Snap is low. Spot. The kick looked like it got blocked, but I think it got through. No, it didn't. It had the distance that time, but it was offline. So another break. The Plainfield special teams, second time in a row now they've stopped an extra point. 26-20 our score, 1:05 to go in the third.
And I have Polston now 11 for 17, 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, that's wow. We just got to give Decatur Central all the credit in the world for their perseverance tonight when they easily could have folded. But that's why they've been a consistent top 10 team for nearly a decade now here in Class 5A. And again, you take Cathedral out of these sectionals, and Coach Brian Woodard certainly has been, as you know, Rob, from all those years on your show, it's like a ritual every year. He talks about the lack of competitive balance in the way that the IHSAA runs the sectionals.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, Ron Colley in that sectional for all those years, and then, what was it, Cathedral was in the sectional?
Oh, yeah.
Cathedral, right?
Cathedral, yeah.
Yeah, you got no, I mean, realistically, year in and year out, there may be a couple teams if you're really good over the years, but, I mean, just every year that team's going to be a statewide powerhouse, and you have to get through them in your sectional.
Oh, yeah, and if they had a seeding system, Plainfield certainly would probably have far more tournament wins in the Woodard era.
Short little pooch kick. It'll be taken at the 25.
Oh, no!
Fumbled.
We got
It's
it,
a
get
live
it.
ball, and Decatur
They got
Central
it.
got it back. Hit right off the Plainfield player. There was no one around him, just couldn't field it, and Decatur Central fell on the football. And boy, it certainly feels like now with the ball at the 30-yard line of Plainfield, like all the momentum is on the side of Decatur Central.
All of it, and that was just a purely fundamental mistake right there. And we've got to get a stop here, or we're going to be because if we go down 2 possessions now, only a little over a quarter left in this game, 1:02 to go here in the third quarter, it's very hard to imagine that we're going to come back and win this game. We did a lot of good things on the last drive, getting a lot of guys involved, which is what worked so well against Greenwood last week. But now we've got to get a stop here.
Oregon out of the gun. Snap, give. Cox tries to break it free and does
All
not.
right.
And once again, Plainfield has done a great job tonight for all the problems they've had with the passing game. The run game, other than the one huge run from Cox, they have totally stopped him all night long.
Yeah, we have. I think they got him down for a -1 there. And we've held him, except for the 49-yarder, we've held him 13 for 17. We've really had his number.
Plainfield has really got to bear down here with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, because you cannot go down 2 scores. They're out of field goal range certainly right now, so if you could just stop them, no harm, no foul, but we'll see. Snap, rolling right side, rolling, throwing on the run, and it is caught, and he is going to try to spin forward. He will be short of a first down, but a nice gain there of about 7 or 8 yards, and it'll bring up a third down and short for Decatur Central. I think they're going to put him at the 22. They need to get to the 20, so a third down and 2 in what could be the final play of the third quarter.
So a 5-yard pickup there by Taylor, or 9-yard pickup, excuse me, his third reception of the game by my count.
Boy, if I'm Plainfield here, and I know there's a risk that comes with it, but I am selling out on this one because, man, you got to try to stop them from getting a first down here.
Yeah, we just got to go with them with full force.
Shotgun snap, quarterback keeper, he got it, off in, still going, he's inside near the 10, and that's where he'll be taken down, and that play has been awfully effective. As ineffective, kind of a weird thing, like as ineffective as the run has been tonight, those quarterback draws have been uber effective, and that will be the final play of the third quarter. So not looking good for the Quakers right now. They're down by a touchdown, and off the kick that was fumbled, the Decatur Central Hawks are knocking on the door again. 3 quarters in the books. It's 26-20. And let's again thank all our sponsors who make Plainfield football broadcast possible. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield, mortgage lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, My IT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, The Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. Again, I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn. We're coming to you live tonight from from Plainfield High School, where the Decatur Central Hawks lead the Plainfield Quakers by a score of 26-20, and they've got a first down and 10 from the Plainfield 11-yard line.
Well, what a game it's been. Certainly it couldn't have started off much better for Plainfield, and then they've been mostly self-destructing. They did have that one good drive in the third quarter to come back and tie it. Should have taken the lead, missed the extra point. Then Decatur Central came down, got a touchdown, missed the extra point, and then a mishandled kickoff return was recovered by Decatur Central at about the 30, and now the Hawks knocking on the door of a 2-possession lead, first and goal at the 11, leading 26-20 as we start the fourth quarter here, game 6 out of 9 in the regular season.
So the Hawks moving from left to right, knocking on the door, and if they get a touchdown here, it's going to be real tough for Plainfield given their issues they've had throughout most of the ball game moving the football.
Yeah.
Snap, there's no play action, throw's got to be a wide open, and it is off the hands of the intended receiver, the guy with the hair. I think that's number 5. It's very hard to see his jersey.
Yeah, Campbell, Marvin Campbell.
Marvin Campbell Jr., who is a junior. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But, man, glad we were finally able to see his number because his hair went flying up. But, boy, that's a health hazard, man, in a game of football, I would think, having hair that long.
Yeah, I don't know how Troy Polamalu survived all those years. but nevertheless,
That play action has just been killing Plainfield tonight, and they have had so many. Decatur Central has wide open opportunities. They have not been able to run the ball other than those quarterback draws with any sort of effectiveness, but the passing game has been wide open, and now a whistle, flag flies, probably a delay of game. Yes, it is. It is a delay of game on the Hawks, so that'll move them back 5 yards, and it'll now be a 2nd and 15.
And, Rob, what they did on that last draw, what Plainfield did on their last possession, which already seems like a long time ago, is what they should have been doing all along, which is getting a whole bunch of guys involved. That was one thing that worked so well against Greenwood. Like I said, we had 6 different players score touchdowns in that game, 3 rushing, 3 receiving. And once we started to, Newell started throwing it around to different guys on that last possession in this game, it worked out really well.
So snap, rolling, and he's going to be hit.
Yes!
And he's going to be dropped. Big hit back there. Number 8 for Plainfield, Landon Drennan, was the first one to get him, and that was a big hit that'll move it all the way back to about the 22-yard line. So now, not only do we have a great opportunity to keep them out of the end zone, but we're pushing them on field goal range. And if you could somehow just keep this a one-possession game, you'd really feel like you got a lot of momentum back on your side.
Yeah, because we just need a touchdown on the one to get the lead back. But, man, if we don't get them off the field here, my God, that will be devastating after what they've done to us on the way they've torched us on third down conversions tonight.
So it's basically a 3rd and 20, and oh, boy, that was movement up front. That's a live ball. No flags.
All right.
There was no flags on that play, Leck, and that's a live ball. It looked like there was tons of movement up front on both teams, but the officials let it go.
Wow.
And so regardless, so now all sorts of problems for Decatur Central because the ball's all the way back at the 29. You basically got goal to go here, and it's too long for a field goal, and a punt doesn't do you a lot of good, so I guess you just go for it here.
I guess, probably just take a shot at the end zone or, something like that, or maybe just, just be conservative, maybe just run up the middle, try to get 10 or 12 yards. But nevertheless, it looks like Plainfield will get the ball back with a chance to take the lead. Now, 1 second. Wow, did they? Is that going to be a delay of game? Or
I think they were looking for that delay of game because I think they want to try to have some more room to punt the football.
Oh, okay.
Now, interesting proposition if you're Brian Woodard, because on paper you might not want to give that to him, but you don't want to give him any ideas about maybe going for it. So he will take the 5. And you have the conservative play, even if it doesn't help him on the punt, at least now you've kind of assured they are not going to go for it. And so now the ball moved all the way back to the 34-yard line. So they went from 1st and 10 at the 11 to now 4th and 32 or 3.
It says 4th and 33 at the 39. So, all right, we've got 4 block kicks on the year, remember.
Snap. Kick is away, and it is a good kick. It'll hit. It'll deaden at the 15. So what a break for Plainfield. They were facing a 1st and 10 at the 11, and now they got it with no points surrendered at the 15-yard line. What a break.
Yeah, what a break indeed. Now we just got to, finish the job here. 9:56 to go, 84 yards. Let's do it.
So if you're just joining us tonight, I'm Rob Kendall. He's Lex Zorn coming to you tonight from Plainfield High School, where the Quakers trail it by 6 against the Hawks at Decatur Central, 26-20. Plainfield led 14-0 in the game. And just a huge, huge stand there after that failed, after fumbling that kickoff to not give up any points, and you're still only down a score. So Newell out of the gun, 2 receivers to each side of the field. Plainfield moving from right to left. Man goes in motion from left to right. Snap, rolling to the right side, rolling, throwing on the run. Got a man wide open in the flat. He's to the far side of the field, around the 25, to the 30, and pushed out of bounds. 1st down and more for the Plainfield Quakers. Flag flies in late. Number 3, Isaiah Miller at the reception. Now a scrum is on, and let's see what goes on the far side of the field.
Oh, no.
So it looks like the players will be separated. A flag flew in super late.
Usually a late hit.
Well, but man, that just came from someone who was nowhere near the play, though. I mean, it came all the action was on that far side of the field,
right.
And the flag, as you can see, Lack. Well, I guess there is one over there now as well. But man, it looked like it came right out of the center of the field. I would have thought it would. Now, we're nowhere near that sideline, and obviously we don't have a TV screen over there or anything, but it looked like he was way out of bounds when that hit was made.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from our vantage point here since it's way at the far side of the field. And he, again, in high school ball, most of the time we don't have the benefit of video monitors. But, yeah, it looked to me like it was a late hit.
Now, Decatur Central has already moved back.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're just doing that out of that's where the ball's going to be or is, and that's where we want to set up our deal. But, I mean, they are standing at the Plainfield 40, and now the Plainfield fans are clapping, so I assume that's what it was indeed a late hit on Decatur Central. So not only was that a first down on the play, but they moved the ball all the way up to the 42-yard line. So a huge, basically a 27-yard pickup there on the first play from scrimmage for the Plainfield Quakers. All right, 2 receivers going to the right, 2 men to the left. Plainfield working out of the gun. Hunter Newell, 9:49 left to go in the ball game.
Was that Miller on the last reception?
Yes, yeah. Isaiah Miller.
All right. Let's do it. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
So some delay on the field by the officials as though they're like, I don't know what they're waiting on, but
and there
we go.
Penalties plagued Decatur Central in the first quarter. That's one thing that helped us move the ball so well. So now
snap, rolling to the near side of the field, rolling on the run. Better get rid of it. He will throw it. It is caught, and he is drilled out of bounds. The catch was made, though, by number 1, Caden Vanderbush. Nice job by Vanderbush. Took a huge hit, but hung on to the football.
Yeah, Vanderbush got his first career varsity touchdown last week at Greenwood. Picks up 3 yards there.
He earned, that is for sure, he earned those 3 yards.
Yes.
So ball's up to the 46. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 7.
So now we got 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now Hessig step into the backfield.
Working out of the gun. Newell gives to Hessing, and he drives for it, and then is hit, and
doesn't get much.
They basically tipped that play there, Leck, because Hessing moved from receiver position to the backfield and then instructed number 44, Brandon Henry, who had been back there doing a great job blocking and was just getting ready to say that has really worked well with him back there. He kind of tipped everybody off that he was back there and drew attention to himself, and it seemed like they knew exactly what play was going to be run.
Yeah, that was really odd to me. I thought maybe they're going to do some kind of trick when he moved back there, but to just give him the ball, I didn't understand that. So now after they give Hessing credit for 1 yard there on that rush, 9 minutes to go now. 3rd and 6, very critical 3rd and 6 for the Quakers now at their own 47.
3 receivers wide to the right, 1 man to the left. Snap, back to pass. He's got a room to run, and he'll drive forward, but it's not going to be enough for a first down. He might have got a yard. Looked like he had an opportunity there, and then that hole closed up. I think a linebacker was able to step up and get him, and a big decision coming up for Brian Woodard here. It's 4th down, and their offense has been so effective. I think probably the blueprint of football says if you've got the ball in your own territory and you got 4 yards to go or 5 yards to go, you punt. But I don't think you do here.
Boy, it's this is one of those things that would just drive me crazy if I were a coach. Now they are lined up to go for it. Maybe they're trying to.
They better
get
go.
A penalty.
7 seconds on the play clock, and now Brian Woodard sees it, and he's going to spend a timeout. So 8:10 to go in the ball game. And it's 26-20, and this really is a key moment. I like the idea of going for it, though, because they, being Decatur Central, have moved the ball so well, especially after those first couple series that, man, you'd hate to give them the ball back down a touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, it's certainly been a game of ups and downs. Oh, got another player down. Looks like a Decatur Central player's down on the far side of the field here. Hopefully this is not serious. Rob, as you might have noticed, when I commentated the game at Perry Meridian a couple of weeks ago, that was, I think, the most injuries I've ever commentated in a game. There were 7 injuries, 6 on the part of Perry Meridian, and including their top 2 quarterbacks. So they ended the game with their number 3 quarterback. their number one quarterback went down around midway through the first quarter, and they were completely lost offensively without him. Like I said, they did not get an earned first down until the last 3 minutes of the game.
All right, here we go. Fourth down coming up. Need to get to the 48-yard line of Decatur Central. 3 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right. Snap, back to pass, steps up. Now he's going to be flushed out. You got to get rid of it. You can't take a sack. Throws it down the field. It is over the head of the intended receiver, off the hands.
Irwin.
Grant Irwin, number 10.
Yeah.
He had some space there, but just threw it a little too high and sailed through Irwin's hands. So turnover on downs, and now Decatur Central has the ball in Plainfield territory. So another ask of this Plainfield defense.
Yeah, they need to get Irwin more into the action. He only has 1 reception tonight. It's for 11 yards. I think it's just those 2 passes that have even been thrown to him tonight. But yeah, he is the leading receiver on the season by far, with 4 touchdowns, averaging nearly 20 yards a reception. Barely played varsity ball until this year. But now, he's got a good shot to play collegiately, with a big senior season that he's having.
All right, so here we go. Plainfield defense out there again.
8:02 to go. Decatur Central takes over in their own in Plainfield territory at the 48.
Snap, give, Cox, again, just taken down, nothing doing. And it almost just seems like they're doing it out of some sort of obligation at this point. I believe that was number 8 for Plainfield, Landon Drennan, in there on the tackle, amongst many others.
Yeah.
Because they have just not been able to run the ball, but it's almost like just to keep giving that, cursory look, because their passing game has been so effective tonight.
Yeah, and certainly, if you're a Decatur Central fan, you have to be really excited about having Bo Polston back for 3 years. Of course, we were excited about having Carson Melvin back for 3 years. That didn't happen. He transferred to Westfield, but Hunter Newell keeps getting better and better. And
play action, looking, throwing,
all
and
right.
It's short.
All right.
He was pressured. Drennan got in there. Again, he's been really coming up big the last couple series, and the quarterback, Polston, had to flip it. He had a man open out there in the flat, but he had to flip it so quick because it was running the risk of getting a sack that the ball fell incomplete. So 3rd down now, clock stopped, 7:14 to go.
And Rob, Coach Woodard, great coach. But, not only has he had bad laws, but not only has he had bad draws in the tournament, but he's also had bad luck, losing players who he thought he was going to have for the long term.
All right, so 3rd down and long coming up. 3rd and 11 from the 48. Snap back to pass. He's rolling, throwing on the run, and it is caught, but I think he's short of the first down.
Oh, he's short, yeah.
Yeah, he is short, so we'll see. He's going to be about 2 yards short. I believe that was number 1, Taylor, with the reception, falling out of bounds on the near side of the field. He was short. It is 4th down with 7:08 to go, and another big opportunity here, and this is where Plainfield's inability to move the ball really emboldens this Decatur Central Hawks team, because they don't really fear that Plainfield offense right now, so they feel like they can go for it.
Yeah, we got to get him off the field here.
All right, 4th down, Plainfield bringing the house. Let's see what happens. Snap, quarterback keeper, hit.
We got him.
He's going to be short.
Yes. All right.
Nice job by Plainfield as they brought the house, and the Quakers line was big up front, leading the charge once again, number 66, Christopher Strange, and it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Plainfield Quakers. They have somehow hung around in this ball game. It seems like they've been really outplayed, but still with another opportunity to potentially take the lead. 7 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the contest.
Yes, indeed. So now 7:04 to go. We got 60 yards to go to the touchdown. 2 timeouts. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
All right, out of the gun. Let's see what they do here. 1 receiver flanked wide to the right, 2 men to the left. Man goes in motion. Snap, stretch play. Larison, room to run. He drives forward, spins out of 1 tackle, still going.
All right. Good job, Troy.
Leck, did you ever have a Sega?
No, I had the Atari. I'm a little bit,
There used to be a game called Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where you get going really fast. And he's like He's like Sonic the Hedgehog. He just gets going really fast, and he's like unstoppable.
So 6 yards there for Larison. That was Larison's first 8. Larison's first 8 carries went for 2 yards. That went for 6. So maybe he's starting to hit his stride there as he gets 6 on that reverse.
Out of the gun. Snap. Gives Hessung room to run across midfield, driving forward into Decatur Central territory. Still going, being pushed by his teammates.
Yes.
Still going all the way down inside the 40.
All right. Oh my God, this is crazy.
Boy, he got about, it seemed like 10 yards there on a push from his offensive lineman, and that's a play like that wasn't even legal several years ago.
All right. Well, so Hessung, 18 yards there, first and 10 at the 38. 6:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Decatur Central 26, Plainfield 20. We need a touchdown and an extra point to take the lead.
All right, so now, as you said, Leck, inside of 6 minutes to go, ball at the 37-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right, 1 man in the backfield. Man goes in motion. They'll give it straight ahead. Room to run. Driving forward is Hessung, holding on to the football down around the 32-yard line. Let's call it a gain of 5 on first down.
All right, I like we're starting to get the rushing game going finally.
Antonio Williams coming in. We have not seen a lot of him tonight. Did a great job there down around the goal line. Although we haven't seen a lot of him, he scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 rushes, but 2 touchdowns to show for it. So, yeah, you definitely want him on your fantasy high school football team this week.
All right, working out of the gun. Williams now is the man in the backfield. 2 receivers going to the right, 1 man to the left. Newell takes his time. Snap. Give is to Williams. He's got room, drives forward to the 30 before he's hit by a host of Decatur Central tacklers. And
it's going to be 3rd and short.
Yeah, got about 2 yards that time, maybe 3, and it'll bring up a big 3rd down for Plainfield.
Very critical 3rd down, 3rd and 3. I don't want it to get to 4th down.
4:50 and counting. Plainfield with 2 timeouts left. Ball's at the 30-yard line, obviously in 4-down territory here.
Well, now that we've started to rush the ball somewhat effectively, maybe that'll open some doors for our receivers here, as we got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left now.
4-man front for the Decatur Central Hawks. Snap, give, Hessung drives forward, spins forward. He's going to be close. It'll depend on the spot. Man, that's super close. No signal yet. No signal yet.
Wow.
There
yes.
Down, okay.
All right. Good job, Noah.
All right, so just getting just enough was good enough. And with 4:20 to go, a fresh set of downs. Ball rests at the 27-yard line. Plainfield moving from right to left on your computer screen.
All right, 4:05 to go. Plainfield trailing by 6, trying to snap a 13-game losing streak to the Hawks. It's in their grasp now. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back, Newell in shotgun.
Out of the gun. Snap. Back to pass. Looking. Got a man.
Vanderbush.
Caught.
Yes,
intercepted.
down at the 2.
What they call interception or reception. There's controversy on the field right now. The Decatur Central player came away with the ball, but there's no signal yet. Decatur Central is livid. They came away with the ball, but the official ruled it a Plainfield catch. I have no idea what's happening right now. I don't know how they ruled that a Plainfield catch. The Decatur Central defender had the ball.
I saw Vanderbush toss the ball back to him. Maybe he snapped the ball out of his hands. I'm not sure.
Boy, that's great work for Plainfield. They're going to run a play real quick here, not to give officials time to change their mind. And Williams has the ball, drives forward, gets nothing on the play. But I think that was more about not giving the officials a chance to talk about it.
I think so, too. I assume the rule is like in the NFL. Once the next play has been run, they can't reverse it.
I mean, the Decatur Central defender definitely rose up with the football. He was in the end zone. He had tumbled forward. I don't know what Plainfield is doing here. They're in this super tight formation. And now it's fumbled, and he dives forward, and I don't know what's going to – there's a scrum for this football, and the outcome of this could decide the game. Ball's on the floor. No signal yet. Plainfield ends up with the Leck, I don't know what they're doing here because they have not run this super tight formation the whole game. And now they're running this.
I think they need to just call a timeout here and settle down.
Yeah, I mean, they've just 2 plays in a row. I thought the first time they were running it, they were doing it because. because they just needed to run a play quick, but then they ran it again. And I don't know, like you've done more games than I have. Have you seen them run this goal line formation all year?
Not that I recall.
So Plainfield now is going to let this wind down, this clock wind all the way down. Brian Woodard is going to run down and call a timeout with
1 second left, I assume.
Yeah, and that
so
will
they're take it 2:25 to go in the game.
Boy, that's wild.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. I agreed with you. The first time they were just trying to get a play off to make sure that the reception wasn't reversed. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing the second time. Maybe they thought they could catch Decatur Central off guard. I don't know. But yeah, it's
an interesting call too, because they have done pretty well down there around the goal line tonight.
Yeah, I mean Antonio Williams with the 2 short touchdowns. Yeah.
So what this does, though, the problem now is, well, obviously you just want to get a touchdown and then there is no problem. But they had to burn a timeout there. So now you only have 1 timeout left. So if for some reason you can't get the ball into the end zone, the game is basically over because of the way the clock would move, although maybe not quite, but pretty close. And because you only got that 1 timeout left. So lot riding, obviously not that there wasn't a lot riding before, but
I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you basically are designing, I would guess, 2 plays here. Although I guess if you don't get it in, maybe you do call a timeout to design something else. Either way, Brian Woodard, he needs to wear one of those things on his wrist where it tracks his steps.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely getting his steps in today. He is pacing up and down the field. All right, here we go. They're in this super tight formation where everybody is bunched up at the line of scrimmage, save for Antonio Williams, the lone man in the backfield. Down under center, quarterback sneak, and
got it!
Is in for the touchdown.
Yes, Hunter Newell on the quarterback sneak. An extra point away from taking the lead. Excuse me. We've got it tied now.
2:20 left to go in the ball game. 26-26. Keep in mind, Plainfield did miss an extra point the last time down. It was it looked like either a mistimed snap. The kicker moved forward early and missed the kick. And now a chance for number 97, Cameron Grimes, a sophomore, to give his team the lead. Keep in mind, Decatur Central as well has missed back-to-back extra points. So let's see what happens here. Biggest play of the ball game. Snap, spot, the kick is blocked.
Oh no.
And again, it looked like it was a low snap that they had trouble holding, and so the kick was no good. And Plainfield really upset, and I thought so too, that the Decatur Central players were offsides. I really thought that the Decatur Central player was offsides and into the neutral zone before that ball was snapped. And look, the officials are huddled over there talking with each other right now. I don't know what they're talking about. Plainfield, not 1 but 2 linemen were up there for Plainfield, really agitated with the officials. That's very unlike Plainfield. And so it does tend to give some credence to what we thought we saw up here, which was that they were in the neutral zone before the ball was snapped. But either way, it's going to stand. So it's 26-26. Both teams have missed 2 extra points. And now the pressure's back on the Plainfield defense because a field goal, well, it would have anyway, but a field goal wins it for you.
Yeah, any score, and Decatur Central has 2:20 to go and 2 timeouts. So we got to try to do a 3 and out, and hopefully we can get the ball back. I don't like, it's ironic, Rob. The last time you and I were here, it was for that freshman JV doubleheader a week ago Friday, and I talk about how I've never commentated an overtime varsity game, and maybe this will be the first tonight. Of course, the JV game that you and I did, it was one of only 2 overtime games I've ever commentated in my life in football.
All right, there's the kick. It's a high end over end kick. It'll be taken on a back pedal at about the 1 yard line. He's across the 10, hit and dropped. Flag flies in late towards the end of the play. I think that's going to be a hold on Decatur Central. So the ball is currently spotted at the 15 yard line. I believe that was number 10 that time on the return, Chris Richmond. And so it'll be a first down and 10 from somewhere coming up for Decatur Central. Now they're going to wave the flag off.
Oh, good.
And so Plainfield not real happy about that. I think they thought they had a free 10 yards, which would have moved them back inside the 10. But regardless, still not great field position. And if you're Plainfield, you've got to keep the ball in front of you right now.
And Rob, imagine if we hit that extra point and Decatur Central would now have all the pressure on them.
And I'm sure Decatur Central is thinking the same thing about us, right?
Oh, yeah. And whoever loses this game is going to be sick.
Yep.
Because they will have, given it the way with the
Snap back to pass. Step, drop, caught, spins forward. Not a lot doing there.
They've
Clock
kept him
will
in bounds.
continue to wind.
Good.
He's going to be down at about the 19-yard line, a gain of 4. That time it was number 1, Taylor, with the reception for the Hawks of Decatur Central. Decatur Central content to let this clock wind down a little bit, and they may be, Leck, if indeed they get a first down, content to maybe try to really let this thing wind down and then try something big late in the clock. We'll see. 3 receivers to the left, 1 man to the right. Snap, quick drop, throws, and it is caught. And he is off to the
we
races.
got to get him. We got to get him.
And it is still going. He's inside the 40 and down at the 38. And number 1, that was Taylor with the run after the catch, and that is just not heads-up football right there, trying for that interception instead of keeping the ball in front of you. And now Decatur Central back in the driver's seat. The clock will begin to wind. The kicking game has not been great for Decatur Central tonight. That's one thing I guess you got going for you. But the ball is now down to the 38-yard line, and I'm sure Brian Woodard is just beside himself over there on the sideline, because that all you had to do is just keep the ball in front of you. It was a short gain, and then he just made a huge run afterwards. Snap, quick drop, throws, far side of the field it is. Caught, yes, at the 35.
He stays in bounds, though, and doesn't pick up much, and the clock keeps ticking.
2 timeouts left for Decatur Central. They are not using the timeouts here yet. Now, again, it would currently be about a 52-yard field goal, so probably well outside the range, and now the Decatur Central will spend a timeout. I don't know what you got to get to, Leck, for this kicker. Maybe the 25, maybe you give a shot at it, because that'd be about a 42-yard field goal. So I don't know, maybe about 20-ish yards to go to be in some sort of range. But, boy, that's just the last thing you wanted to have happen there.
Well, did you catch who made the last reception and by the way, I'll look up the
By the way, that last drive, thanks to our man Jeff Sherman for giving us the stuff. 9 plays, 60 yards, 4 minutes and 44 seconds on that game-tying drive for Plainfield. So Decatur Central now is down to 1 timeout, as is Plainfield. 54 seconds left to go in this game.
And by the way, Rob, Vogel is on field goals on the year 2 of 3 with a long of 41.
Okay, so right where we said, right? So the ball's at the 35. The 25 would make it a 42-yarder. So if you're Decatur Central, knowing Plainfield can only stop the clock 1 time, you wonder how. Now he's rolling right side, throwing quickly. It's in the flat. It's caught. He's got room to run. He's taken down at the 30.
Okay.
So and now another timeout called by Decatur Central. He's going to be – no, they did not call a timeout.
No, they didn't. It's 42 seconds and counting, and they're still several yards short of the first down.
So apparently, and they appear to be in no hurry here. Whatever's going on, yep. They still have a timeout left. They elect not to use it. I'm a little bit surprised. And now a big play in this ball game.
You got to stop him here.
Snap, give. He's going to be hit.
He's got him.
Dropped,
we got him. Yes.
And he is going to be taken down at about the 33-yard line. 4th down now coming up for Decatur Central. And we will see. That's big, because that's going to push him back to what would make that
6
about
seconds now.
That'd be about a 50-yard field goal for Decatur Central. They're going to let it run right down to the final second. And I don't know. You obviously said his long on the year is 41 yards.
Yeah.
It would be right at about a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And it looks like.
And he's missed 2 extra points. I mean,
I guess the odds are, what do you have a greater chance of doing? Throwing a 33-yard touchdown pass for a touchdown, or do you have a better chance of kicking a 50-yard field goal for a touchdown?
Yeah, I don't know. Then again, these Decatur Central coaches, they see this kid in practice. Maybe they know he has that kind of range, and maybe they think the wind condition is favorable. But, yeah, that's
again, if you were going to kick the field goal, why wouldn't you run like a quarterback sneak there? Why wouldn't you run, a couple of those quarterback draws that have been so effective?
Yeah.
I don't understand, but it looks like they are going to kick it. They are going to try to kick it and win this ball game. It will be a 50-yard field goal from the right hash.
And remember, we have four blocked kicks on the year already.
And now Plainfield is going to call a timeout of their own.
All right. 0.4 of a second left here. Decatur Central and Plainfield tied at 26. Decatur Central about to attempt a 50-yard field goal to win the game. Plainfield trying to snap a 13-game losing streak to the Hawks here at Red Pride Stadium. Plainfield's last victory over Decatur Central 10 years ago yesterday, right on this very field. I was there. It was the 5th game of my career. Now this is the 113th. I've commentated several of the 13 ensuing losses. The 13 ensuing losses, including 2 of them in the playoffs, including a couple of very painful plays, including last year when Caleb Hicks of Decatur Central got a 99-yard touchdown rush against us, including in 2019 in the playoffs when we were about to tie the game at 7, and one of the Tracy kids came out of a pile near the end zone, took it all the way to the other end zone for the touchdown, and what was going to be 7-7 became 14-0.
All right, so I'm trying to look at the flags and see. There's not a whole lot of wind. I mean, there's a little bit. All right, so here we go.
We've got 4 blocked kicks on the season, remember.
Snap, spot, blocked!
Yes!
The kick is blocked, and
Yes.
we will go to overtime.
Yes. So 5 blocks on the season, 5 blocked kicks in 6 games. Outstanding special teams play by Plainfield this season.
And it was Landon Drennan, who's got to be the defensive MVP of the night, at least certainly later on in this ball game. I believe is the guy who got in there to get the block. So Plainfield now will go to overtime. Let's take a moment real quick as we prepare for overtime to thank the sponsors who make Plainfield football possible all year long. CCB Contracting, Geodis, Gunnell Financial, Julia Burbridge, Remax Centerstone Plainfield, Kyle Burnfield Mortgage Lender at Flagstar Bank, Team Turley Fairway Mortgage, the Bailey & Wood Financial Group, African Plum Home, MyIT Indy at myitindy.com, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Beacon Sign Company, Jeff Brown Photography, Karen Alexander Photography, and Whitlow's Towing. So on to overtime we go. Rob Kendall and Lex Zorn, 26 apiece. Story of the ball game, 2 missed extra points for both teams, and we're at 26 apiece.
Well, what you always want to do in overtime, Rob, is go last, because then you know what you have to do when you take over.
Yeah, and so the ball will be placed, help me, is it the 20 or the 10?
I think it's the 10 if it's the way it was in that JV game that we did. So, Rob, this is quite ironic. You know, the last 2 games that you and I have commentated together, this one and then the JV game a week ago Saturday, we're on a 2-game overtime streak. You know, what are the odds of that? You know?
Okay, so your rushing leaders tonight, Jordan Cox, 11 runs for 58 yards. The receiving leader tonight, Taquan Taylor, 7 catches, 150 yards. And then overall for Plainfield, Noah Hessong, the leading receiver tonight, 11 catches, 56 yards. Or rushing, 11 rushes, 56 yards. Noah Hessong, also or Isaiah Miller, rather, the leading receiver tonight, 3 catches, 46 yards. And then passing, Hunter Newell, 11 of 17, 199 yards, 1 touchdown. And Bo Polston, 17 of 25, 373 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, thanks to Jeff Sherman, our man on the stats tonight. He's done a phenomenal job getting us all the information all night long. Always appreciate him. They're out doing the coin toss right now. So somebody will pick if you win, you usually take defense first. And
yeah.
Then you go from there. I mean, as bad as the kicking games have been tonight, like, you got to think both teams are playing for touchdowns. 4 shots.
Yep. So, we just got to get some stops in there and don't let this slip away. Rob, I don't know what year they started having overtime in high school ball, but back in the old, I know in college they started it in '96. And, I remember the old days. Well, did they have, I know they had ties in college. Do they have ties in high school too back in the early days?
So, okay, some confusion there on the coin toss. Let's see. So Decatur Central has, I believe, won the toss. That was terrible officiating right there, whatever he did. He didn't really give a signal. He just kept passing somebody on the shoulder pads. So I guess the offense will be out first for Plainfield. That was not very descriptive by the official, but based on who's heading out onto the field, I'm guessing the Plainfield offense will be out first.
Rob, do you know when they started overtime in high school ball?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. It was here when I got here.
Okay.
So by, I guess, 2002 or 2003 at least.
Because, yeah, I'm thinking, in the old days, I guess this would have been a tie, and at least that would end the losing streak to Decatur Central. But obviously, we got a shot for victory, so let's do it, boys.
Well, obviously, the human wrecking crew down here around the goal line has been Antonio Williams.
Yeah,
so you'd
that's
have
right.
to think that he might be getting the ball, even though he hasn't been real active in the overall offense tonight. But down around the goal line, he has been super, super, super effective. Although, of course, as soon as I say that, I don't even see him out on the field. So, what do I know, Lek?
Well, you know a lot. You know a lot better than I do. On some things, like you're a lot better at predicting penalties than I am. About the only one I'm any good at is pass interference. But anyway, all right. Starting overtime right now. Plainfield and Decatur Central tied at 26. Plainfield gets the ball first. Two receivers to the left, one to the right.
Snap, give, Hessung breaks one tackle, drives ahead, drives inside the 5, still going, still driving down around the 3.
And that reminds me of that 18-yard rush that Hessung had in the fourth quarter when we were on the game. What should have been the game-winning drive ended up being the game-tying drive as Hessung pushed up 7 yards.
And as soon as we said that, new personnel comes in and featuring Antonio Williams.
Yeah, I think they're using him mainly as their short yardage back.
All right, here we go. Now again running that super tight formation as the ball's down about the 2. Snap, give, Williams drives ahead, and he is super close, and I don't think he quite got in. I think he's about a half yard short. And so now a 3rd down and goal to go for the Plainfield Quakers from about the half-yard line, I should say.
So, yeah, Rob, our last 2 broadcasts have gone to overtime now. I wonder what the odds of 2 overtime games in a row are.
Yeah, that ball, the nose of the ball is about a half. Boy, they're getting up there quick.
I think Hunter's going to go for it. They're trying to push him in.
Oh, and he got in.
Yes. All right.
The Bush push got him in. He was short of the goal line, and then his running back, I believe that was Noah Hessong, got in behind him and gave him the little push, and it's in for the score. And now,
oh my God. All right. Let's do it. So now we're going for the extra point here. That would put it up by 7 in the first overtime.
all right, extra point on the way. Here we go. Snap, spot, kick is up, kick is no good, but a whistle, and I think we got some movement up there.
Okay, so that means we'll get a re-kick then.
You got to wonder here, Lek, maybe with this penalty, if it's on Decatur Central, do you go for 2? And here comes Antonio Williams. I think we just answered the question.
I like this go for broke mentality, because if he gets this, and if it's half the distance to the goal and we punch this in here, that means Decatur Central not only has to get the touchdown, they have to get the 2.
Because he missed that kick.
Yeah.
Again, that one was wide left.
And you got to wonder now if this is starting to get into the head of both kickers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was not a good look. And I think they're just feeling pressure. I think that's been a big part of it. Look, I'll tell you what. Bush push. Up the middle we go.
Let's do it.
Snap. Drives. In. 2-point conversion.
Yes. Plainfield has an 8-point lead. Decatur Central now gets the ball. They have to get the touchdown in the 2 to force a second overtime. All right.
34-26 now the score. Plainfield leads it in overtime. And as you said, Leck, the defense now for the Quakers will come on the field.
All right. All right. Let's do this, boys. Just got to stop them for 4 plays. And even if they get the touchdown, you just have to stop the 2-point conversion.
All right, so here we go. Decatur Central back onto the field. And let's see if the Plainfield defense, which has done a nice job all night long, especially on these short yardage situations. So here we go. Polston out of the gun. Snap, play action, back to pass, throw it in the middle of the field. It is caught on the first play for a touchdown. Number 5 that time, Marvin Campbell Jr. going right down the middle of the field with the catch. And that play has been there all night long, basically, out of that play action. So now Decatur Central needs to get 2 yards to keep the game going.
We got it. If we stop the 2-point conversion, we got it. It's been 3,653 days since Plainfield beats Decatur Central, since Plainfield beat Decatur Central in football. Now we got to stop the 2-point conversion.
We have to stop them from getting in here.
So let's see what happens.
2-point. Yeah, go ahead.
Polston will work out of the gun. Tight formation. 2 receivers to each side, and now a whistle and a timeout. And a timeout called by Plainfield.
So when we come back, we're in overtime. Your score, Plainfield 34, Decatur Central 32. Plainfield scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion on its first overtime possession. Decatur Central scored a touchdown. Now it's the whole game hinges on this play. If Decatur Central makes this 2-point conversion, we'll be tied at 34 and we'll head to double overtime. And if not, then Plainfield wins and breaks a 13-game losing streak to the Hawks.
Yeah, what an opportunity here for Plainfield. And you know, the one thing you got going for you is it doesn't matter how deep they throw the ball. You don't have to worry about anything getting behind you.
Yeah.
It's all in front of you. It's 2 yards. So let's see what happens here. Plainfield now back on the field. Plainfield in the home red jerseys, white letters and numbers, gray pants, gray helmets. Decatur Central, the visitors, white jerseys, gold numbers, gold pants, blue helmets. Decatur Central moving from left to right on your computer screen. They're in the south end of the end zone.
So Plainfield is 1 2-point conversion stoppage away from breaking a 13-game losing streak to Decatur Central. Let's do it, boys. This make the play of your lives right here.
Empty backfield, working out of the gun. Man goes in motion from left to right. Snap, rolling right side, throwing, and it is dropped!
We win! We win!
Yes!
Yes! He dropped it! He dropped it! He dropped it! Plainfield wins in overtime! The 13-game losing streak is over. The beast is out.
And Plainfield celebrating on the field in the end zone. They went to Marvin Campbell Jr. He was open in the corner, and it looked like, or at least that looked like who it was. He was open. The ball hit off his hands, and it fell to the ground. It was open. The pass was just a little bit wide, and Plainfield, what a win for Brian Woodard. They have now won 3 games in a row. They take it tonight 34-32, and they move to 3-3 on the year. Leck, your final thoughts on tonight's ball game.
Well, all these years I kept saying that someday we were going to beat Decatur Central again, and I hoped I'd be behind the mic when it finally happened. I was behind the mic the last time 10 years ago yesterday, and here I am today. So a great momentum building play. We could run into these guys again in the playoffs when they'll want to get revenge on us, but hey, I'm glad we got that gorilla off our backs. Now the 0-3 start seems like a long time ago. We got a chance to move above 500 next week at Franklin.
All right, so that'll do it for us. Again, as Lex said, we'll get a chance to get into a winning record this year. Next broadcast will be Friday night at Franklin. And we'll follow that up with a JV broadcast the next day.
That's right, yeah.
Here on Audio Sports Online. So it'll be a fun Brian Woodard show, which we'll have up hopefully for you on Sunday. Lek, this was a blast. Thanks for doing it with me.
Oh, no problem. And also a reminder to the fans, get out to Decatur Central tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the junior varsity doubleheader between these two schools.
All right, so one final time as the Plainfield fans rush the field. 10 years of waiting. It's over. Plainfield 34, Decatur Central 32. For Lex Zorn, I'm Rob Kendall. Have yourself a good evening.
Good night.